Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight for now is Big Rig Nick Utam.
Thank you very much, Jeff. By the way, titties are proof that men can multitask.
Yeah, believe me. Dion's the expert of that. There have been many episodes where he's looking at boobs and doing the podcast, and folks, you'd never ever know. All of us actually are experts.
That sounds about right.
Same for me. I just, I don't talk about that on air. Folks, if I ever go, probably know what's up.
He's stalking some girl on Instagram.
Yeah, or Snapchat.
Oh,
That's usually my preferred app.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I can't do too much on Snapchat. My younger nieces and nephews are on there, and I can't get too nuts on there.
I have to be extra careful because you just don't want to accidentally send the wrong message to the wrong person and be like, oops,
no, exactly.
I said that to my cousin's wife. Oops.
Oh God.
No, I'm not speaking from experience, folks. Now I'm looking at the chat. Dion is on his way back from the theater, and Kendo had car issues, but the WCBs crew is still one big family, and don't worry, we'll all be together very, very soon. But instead of making you guys wait for a long time...
Thanks, Jim Jones. God.
Well, I got the Flavor Aid ready, bro. It's great.
Wait, he used fucking cherry. Calm down.
Well, I do have the sideburns and sunglasses going for me, so I got that.
Dude, that guy was creepy. So creepy.
We watched all those videos in college. It was just really I knew what we were. It was a class on cults, but I knew we were gonna watch the before and after footage, and I'm just like, oh man, this is weird.
I love that he went to college and took a class on cults. That's hilarious.
Well, it helped me deal with today's society where a lot of people are like this cult of stupidity. It's like, oh, we learned about how to deal with these kind of people in school back in the day. So it's helped, believe me. MSU taught me a lot of valuable things. How to chug a beer, how to shotgun a beer, how to steal beer from a party and take it to another party. A lot of beer-related,
a lot of beer-related shenanigans.
Yeah, but, that's what we do.
Oh, God. Yeah, I went to the prestigious Ivy League of ITT Tech, and I learned how to steal software and passwords and hack Wi-Fi and break into Windows operating systems and all that other good fun stuff.
So it taught you how to be part of Batman.
Batman?
You're half Batman.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that.
Dude, when we start talking about this movie in a bit, man, there's so many Batmans in this movie. There's more than Michael Keaton.
Okay, I was because the way they show the trailer is very nice, and obviously once again whoever cut the trailer did an amazing job and they did it correctly, and it's one of those things where it's this is not how the movie's gonna be, not at all.
No,
I knew it was gonna be a shit show just because they kept they kept showing Michael Keaton. I was like, oh, okay, he's the one selling the movie. Nobody cares about Ezra Miller, so.
Would you believe me if I told you Nicolas Cage is in this movie?
Yes, I would.
Okay, he's in this movie.
I feel like this is DC's kitchen sink.
Oh, it is.
Because
and the garbage disposal and everything that goes down it.
I will. Yeah, I 100% believe that because this is their layup after they fired what's his name, and they've been working on this for forever. It's been delayed. They had issues with the actor Ezra Miller and the Flash and everything like that. They've had issues with him, so it's their fucking layup to be make a little bit of money. But
I don't think it's gonna make them as much money as they think, man.
No, I do love that these legacy studios are really fucking hurting. I'm happy about it because maybe people will find independent stuff or semi-independent stuff to go watch and talk about and things like that. So yeah, it makes me happy. It really does.
One last thing, folks. Like I said, we're going to give you a full review tonight once Dion gets here. Your favorite Batman, Adam West, is in this movie too.
Oh dear God, did they euthanize him?
Bro, every Batman except Val Kilmer shows up at some point.
Oh, they should have got Val. Dude, if they're gonna do that, they should have got Val in there too. I'm sorry.
I think they should have done it like they did Top Gun 2, where they had like Val Kilmer's face and then have his son do the voice if they have to do a voice.
No, no, 100% they should have. They really should have. And yeah, I'm sure would have been fine with that, But yeah, that's stupid. I mean, he wasn't the best Batman, but like he was still there, still part of the thing.
I like Batman Forever. The Schumacher cut's supposed to get released. At least Kevin Smith saw it, and he's going to do a podcast about it in a couple of days. So,
oh God, I can't wait to hear that.
I know he's going to be shilling hard, but look, if his dopey ass can get us a release of that, I'll be okay with it because I do want to watch it.
Yeah. I hope it'll be a good release, not like a 4-3 release like our boy Snyder. Black and white and in standard definition. Thanks, buddy. That was awesome.
Black and white and 4x3. That's the Zack Snyder way to be.
That was so dumb. That was so dumb. Oh my God.
Now, folks, what we're probably going to do is I won't say restart the show once Dion gets here, but what we'll do is I'll redo the introduction so I can cut this part out of the podcast part. But while we're waiting, let's check in with the Super Chats because we have some topics, Nick, that people wanted to pick our brains about, and I definitely want to get your take. So our good friend Space Monkey 0899 says, Disney CFO resigns for emergency medical. Shit's about to hit the fan.
Okay, I guess he's been taken out by the Canadian Secret Service. That's weird. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
I think it's a woman.
Don't come for me.
What, the Canadian Secret Service coming for you? Yeah, you better shut your mouth and say it before they fuck it.
If I smell Tim Hortons, they're nearby. I know how it works.
Dude, that's the best way to describe if you're about to get taken out by the Canadian Secret Service. Is that coffee and donuts? Oh shit, they're coming for me.
Oh shit.
The eye of the maple leaf is upon you.
The eye of the maple. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the chief financial officer. Oof.
Everything is going bad for Disney. When I made the video the other day, I said, I can't believe it, folks. I need a new introduction, but things are just getting worse for Disney. It's like they're pushing back movies, dude. They pushed back all their Marvel movies by a year. Avatar got pushed back. Fuck, the 5th one's coming out in 2031. Like, all of this stuff is getting massively pushed back. So,
Yeah, I mean, and I think, what was it? What the fuck was it? Little Mermaid didn't do too well.
Well, are you telling me that Stunning and Brave reimagining didn't make $2 quadrillion?
No, it did not.
Well, fuck me, man. I thought I knew everything that was going to happen with that movie. I thought it was going to change the world. I thought I was going to become a better person based on Halle Bailey playing the Little Mermaid. Like, Disney sold me that it was going to change the world. And then I guess it didn't even change the box office. So
I love those commercials that came out before it, and like, well, once again, I'm not shitting on kids or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that, or not shitting on parents or people who want to see themselves in these movies. But like the commercials they had before it, where it was like these moms telling their little daughters, "Look, she's like you," and the daughter wouldn't. Honestly, if you watch those, like the daughter didn't care. She's like, "Oh, it's a cartoon or it's a movie. It's shiny colors. I really didn't care." And then some of the girls got it, but some of them didn't. I'm just like, I get it, but like you're forcing this stuff, and it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was like, "Oh, Inspector Gadget's just a guy." I didn't care what color he was.
Yeah, dude. I think all of us, well, at least all of us who are like in like our 30s and older, grew up in the best time, and that's the last thing. That's the last good time we'll ever remember. We're gonna tell stories by firelight after World War III happens. Like, there was a time when we had communication in the house, and lights and electricity,
and people didn't have their heads up their asses.
Yeah, and you didn't have those weird bricks you stare at all the time. It was crazy.
Gotta love the cell phone. This has been Old Men Yelling at Clouds here on NPR.
It really has.
That should be our next show. It's like, just, remember back in 1997 when Hercules came out? Those were the days. It's like, Jesus, dude.
Oh God. What is it? What is it? I watched some video come up on my Instagram. It's like, oh, this old guy did Crank That by Soulja Boy, and he did the dance perfectly. And I'm like, the guy is probably about my age doing that at a wedding, and like, he could move and do it, but I'm just like, I remember that song. I remember those movements.
I remember when it first came out. Like, I was in college when that song hit. No, I was in high school when that song came out.
Yeah, and it's and some people were impressed that he did it. I'm just like the song came up, and just like, I think we all kind of know those movements.
Yeah, everybody did that fucking dance, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good time to be. It was a good time to be alive for many reasons. And that song is not one of them.
Yeah.
Our friend Isato Fortune says, "Hi, fellas. Another Disney disaster coming up with Elemental. Ooh, I've been hearing about that one. For the occasion, can I get a dead Pokemon, please? Love your GMPC, Jeff. Can't wait for more." Well, you don't have to wait long. I'll be back tomorrow. I just was a little under the weather, wasn't feeling too hot, but now I'm feeling good again. And I'll be back tomorrow with 2 streams. We'll have WDW Pro on at 3:30 in the afternoon. That is Eastern time. So I'm going to make that stream after tonight's show. Join us. We're going to be talking about all sorts of wonderful things on the channel. But that is tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, folks that are just popping in, remember, we're waiting for Dion to show up, but we didn't want to have people think we weren't starting the show at all. So we're just doing a little catch-up, and then we're going to officially restart the show without actually going off the air. And for those who listen to the podcast recording version, you'll never know this part happened on the show. So you wanted a dead Pokemon. You got it. It's a little sad to ask, but, whatever.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Dead.
Which Pokemon died? I like to think it's a Sandslash.
Sure, why not? I'm not. That was after my time. Unfortunately, I was still in Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things like that then. But I think I was past that by that time. My brother knows about that stuff. I think he's got a notebook full of them or something. I forget. He has them somewhere.
Oh, he had the binder.
Yeah, he had the binder.
I had a binder of Pokemon. I still do. I never got rid of that shit. But yeah, I was in the 5th grade when Pokemon hit really big, and I gave up by the time I was at the end of the 5th grade because I got into wrestling. I thought that was so much cooler. By comparison, one's fake, the other's kind of fake, but at least the other one had tits and blood and action and violence, and the other one was Pokemon. So my taste changed that day.
Yeah.
Shrubbleswait says, the word of the day is honkers. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Honkers. Fistful of Honkers. Star Wars, The Honkers Awaken. And Terminator, Dark Honkers.
The sad thing is all those work. Every single one of them work.
I'd watch all those movies.
I bet you would.
How about Clear and Present Honkers?
Clear and Present Honkers. Let's see. Honkers Party Massacre. There you go.
Those titties gotta die? No.
No, they're just titties in it. Some of them do, some of them don't. I'm just saying, man.
That's fair. There are a lot of titties that die in these horror movies. Folks, what is your favorite set of honkers to die in a horror movie? Mine would be Pamela Sue Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 5.
You know what's weird? Is seeing her at conventions. It's like, I know why I know you. Yeah. We all know why we know you.
Shrubbleswait, thank you very much. How about Teenage Mutant Ninja Honkers is just gross. How about Honkers Talk? There we go.
Honkers Talk.
And the things they would say.
Jeez.
Smokey and the Honkers. There we go. There's
Smokey. Yeah, there you go. Smokey and the Honkers. Yeah.
That just sounds like a band.
It does, but it sounds like a female topless band, and I'm okay with that.
Well, there's naked karate girls, and they're not naked or girls, or they don't do karate.
That's three strikes, Jeff. I'm not gonna listen to them or watch them. I'm sorry.
We need
None of those things are true. Fuck it.
It's like honey dicking the band. We should do a honey dick band. People think like or whatever. We're just a reggae band, and there's no honey or dicks involved with our music.
We're a reggae band. Yeah, that's.
I've seen Dion play the steel drum. The audience doesn't know that, but Dion has that wonderful skill.
Does he really?
I don't know.
I would have been shocked. I've been like, wow, he has a steel drum in the backyard. He just kind of like smokes a cigar and drinks, and steel drums is his stress
soul.
Away.
Yes. Well, he just takes his old barbecue that doesn't work anymore. Somebody hit it with a car, and he just kind of beats the dents, and it sounds like a steel drum. That's where Mr. Cleo comes into play.
Oh my god. Oh, good news. Tacoma FD season 4 starts in a month.
Oh, there's going to be something decent to watch.
Yeah, it starts the 20th of July.
Oh, that's not many shows start in the middle of the summer like that, but I'm happy to see anything from Broken Lizards.
Yeah, no, people have been like crazy, like messaging them on Instagram and Twitter, been like, when is it going to start again? When do we get a date? I finally released a date today. I'm like, all right, thank God. Because like that's one of the shows that one of the few shows I've rewatched a lot, and it's still like, just hilarious, just goddamn hilarious all the way through.
I love their work. I mean, Beer Fest is still my go-to like drinking movie. There's not a better drinking movie in my mind.
Yeah, I rewatched Quasi again, and I was just like, man, this is still fucking good. It's still really like a really good movie.
I definitely want to watch that movie. It's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna watch this eventually.
Yeah, because it's on Hulu. It's like eventually I'll watch it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, speaking of Hulu, and folks, like I said, we're just waiting for Dion to show up so we can start our Flash review. Then it's all Flash all night. And Batman, because we have unmade Batman films to talk about as well, including a crazy one that I didn't even know existed until today. But on Hulu, I did watch the White Men Can't Jump remake, and goddamn was that terrible.
Yeah, I kept seeing that, and I was like, I'm not going to watch a trailer. I'm not going to watch this. I think I give it a thumbs down on my app. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking mess with it. I'm just not, because I don't see the reason to remake that movie. Like, what is the reason for that?
Like, I didn't dislike the actors, and I didn't dislike a couple of things, but I just thought it was such a dumb movie.
Yeah, and it's like, why remake that one? Like, you picked
because it was probably cheap.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my god, yeah, it's so weird. Like, I hope they don't remake Money Train.
Well, are you afraid they're going to remake all the Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes films?
Yeah.
Well, it would only
so.
work if they recast, or if they cast the same two guys from the remake of White Men Can't Jump and the remake of Money Train. Who should play the Jennifer Lopez character? Jennifer Lawrence?
No, you need somebody definitely ethnic. You can't do Jennifer Lawrence because she's too like fucking basic white woman. Like, you got to do.
She's the first woman ever. How about Jenna Ortega? That'll work, right?
No, we're not doing Jenna Ortega, Jeff.
I didn't know doing Jenna Ortega was on the table, Nick. Now I'm a little disappointed that we could have, but we're not.
I don't like. Okay, Jenna Ortega and Zendaya are the same, basically the same person. They check boxes for Hollywood, and that's really all they're there for.
I think Zendaya kind of sucks, though.
She does, man. She does. I know. I think. Yeah, I know her and Tom Holland are like together, or engaged, married, divorced. I don't fucking know. It's some bullshit. I could care less. Jenna Ortega's the same thing. Like, it's they literally have her for checking boxes and stuff, man. That's really all it is. I don't know, man. Who the fuck could we get?
I feel like we put more effort into these recastings than Hollywood does, and we don't get paid the same. Hollywood, take notice.
You're 100% right, because I think when all four of us are together and we're trying to recast something, we do a damn good job. We have like legitimate people that will that can play those roles and stuff. We've given it a lot of thought too. So
we would have cast a damn good James Bond. We would have cast a damn good Spider-Man. We would have cast a better Flash.
I agree. I 100% agree.
I mean, that guy, he was so goofy. And like I said, because there's people keep rolling in, folks. As soon as Dion gets here, we start the official Flash review. But I mean, Ezra Miller, it hurts to watch him. And it wasn't even funny.
yeah. Apparently, he's like calmed down and shit because like whenever the movie was gonna come out, like I think I'm 2 or 3 months before, like he just went fucking dead quiet. So yeah, it seems like he's either his lawyer is like telling him to shut the fuck up, or you know they've done something. I don't know. It's all crazy.
You know, Hollywood is ridiculous. But you know, to jump back to that other super chat, man, Disney is in the toilet, and we're waiting to see how long it takes for somebody to flush. I'm anxiously awaiting it. Infinite Wanderer says, "Hey Jeff, did you check out the Paul Bunyan video yet?" I did not. I was kind of laid up. And so I want to watch it. I took down my notes about the kaiju stuff, and I will try to watch it for tomorrow's Good Morning Pop Culture so we can talk about that then. If not, on the High Council, I will definitely have watched it.
Yeah. My fear is that Disney goes so far down that you have Apple and Amazon fighting to buy their fucking dead carcass.
That would be so bizarre. Like, I think Apple would be the worst choice of the two.
100% they'd be the worst choice because you're talking about everything going up. I mean, like think about it. I mean, yeah, your iPhone will be like your fucking key to everything in at Disneyland, but then it's just going to be Apple stuff. They're going to have all their movies converted into their new like VR Pro thing. You know, it's going to be terrible. They're going to charge you, $30 a pop for all those movies, man. It's going to be terrible. They're all going to be on their fucking stupid app and things. It's going to be bad.
I don't really like the future we're headed towards, Nick, at all.
Yeah. Well, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you have to financially support alternative media. I know it sucks. I know they're expensive sometimes and it's hard to get, but it has to be done. It has to be done.
Yes. So support this channel by going to shopwcbs.com, picking up a shirt, getting a beer glass, getting ready for our summer drunk watches. Kendo has just finished school. Everything's ready to start production. So, folks, be on the lookout for that. We will start having stuff in the next week. So, thank you for those who support WCBS constantly, and we can't wait to see the rest of you hanging out with us. Now, Shrubbles says, Nick, you're on my shit list. You people got rid of Apu. I don't know how to say Apu's last name. Nahasa Pimana Pepelin. I'll take a Joe Rogan Slapnut and a Flash Ludicrous speed, please.
Okay, first of all, that wasn't me, and a lot of us brown people did not okay that move. Okay, it was some other Indian guy who got a little high in his horse. Sorry, Dion, and was like Apu, like I can't believe a white guy's doing the voice of Apu. It's like, listen, Apu is a hardworking immigrant who has like 5 kids. Take care of his wife and is doing is at the this fucking gas station all the time. He could have been an engineer, could have been a doctor. He's like, nope, I'm gonna do this because this is what's required of me. And he was trying to live his life and take care of his family, man. That's all it was. And that I forget this. There's a whole documentary about that stuff, and the guy who did it is an asshole. I think the comedian Akash Singh has like in a Pooh appreciation like fucking comedy bit or something. I forget. It's really funny though.
Who needs the quickie, Mart? Their floors are sticky, Mart. I liked Apu. By the way, folks, just one thing we are going to request, and we rarely have we ever done this in the past, is Treat Williams passed away this week in a motorcycle accident, so we're not going to press any motorcycle-related buttons just because. I mean, come on. That's appropriate, I think. So anybody that's requesting stuff, I don't think anyone has. I'm just saying, I know people love the motorcycle or the DJ Khaled and all that stuff, but just for this week, we're going to leave that one alone because Treat Williams was a person in general, but, he was an actor that a lot of people enjoyed, and we want to give a little time to pass. And don't worry, folks, I'll be talking about John Romita passing away. I just want to wait till Dion gets here because he knew his work as well.
Okay, to kind of keep the sad shit going for a second, today is also Ernest P. Worrell's birthday.
Good old Jim Varney?
Good old Jim Varney. Yep, it's his birthday today. He would have been 74.
God, he's been gone for 23 years, right?
Dude, it's hard to believe, man. It really is hard to believe.
I loved those movies growing up, man. I mean, I still like them today, but they were so fun.
Yeah, it's like him and Robin Williams always get me. I swear to God, one thing about celebrities are people that like really affected my childhood. It's like both those guys were fucking hilarious, and they went out before their time, and it's really sad to see that.
Yeah, especially I mean, I have sympathy for everybody involved in what you just said, but the Robin Williams stuff is extra sad because I believe it was Parkinson's he was diagnosed with, and he decided to just end it himself, and it's just like, whew, you know,
Yeah, there
a
were
lot
yeah,
of
there
sadness.
were a lot of things there, and it's like, man, yeah, it was rough, and I mean, I understand when you're when people are diagnosed with something like that, it's like you know what the end's going to be, and it's really rough. Um, yeah, it's heartbreaking, really.
Favorite Robin Williams and favorite Jim Varney movie? Go.
Jesus Christ,
I haven't seen that one.
fuck. Jim Varney is always going to be Scared Stupid. Always love that movie. God, Robin Williams. I want to see Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that's my favorite Robin Williams movie. I fucking love Mrs. Doubtfire. I saw that one in theaters as a little kid. I mean, I was like 5 years old when that hit. I loved that movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, God, he's done so many good ones too. Jack is underrated. Toys, fuck, Toys is good. No, Toys. No, I removed my answer. Toys is my favorite. Toys is good.
That's a good one. It's very different than, a lot of his other movies, but I like it. The one Robin Williams movie I do not enjoy is Bicentennial Man.
I understand that. I really do. That one was really heavy, extremely heavy. I watched it twice, I think, around the time it came out. I think I watched it in theaters and watched it when it came out again. But I understand what you said. Like, it's super heavy, and it's like and the funny thing is like it's kind of like appropriate for now.
Yeah.
Because he's an AI machine that slowly wanted to become human. And want the human experience, even though I think he lived like 200 years and was with that family for like 4 generations or something like that. It was crazy. And then he got his wish and whatever. Good Morning Vietnam is good. I love that movie. Good Will Hunting. I love him in Good Will Hunting because he's very raw. He's just like, listen, motherfucker. Here's how it's gonna go.
That's a good one too. I was older when I saw that movie.
Yep. That's a good one. Jeez. I know. Okay, he did two kind of thrillers. One of them is Insomnia, and one is 1 hour. Sorry, no, he did 3. 1 Hour Photo, Insomnia, and Final Cut are like thrillers that are out of his range, or out of what he's normally does, and they're fucking good. They're so good. 1 Hour Photo is incredibly fucking creepy.
Is that the one where he has? I mean, I know this is crazy to say, but is there a scene in that one where he's sitting in his living room and he has all the photos of those people pasted to his wall?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember that one.
That movie is like, it is like there's very little like violence in that movie, but just the way he is and his mannerisms and the things he does and what he says to the family that he's like follow through these photos is incredibly goddamn creepy. It is so fucking unsettling. Anybody who, if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's definitely worth it. Insomnia is fun too. It's with Robin Williams and Al Pacino.
He's great himself.
Yeah.
Except in Jack and Jill.
Yeah, that's true. Also give the Final Cut a watch as well. It's another little dramatic thriller that he did. It's the Final Cut's interesting because it's about the future where like he's somebody who works in a funeral home, but funerals are different now, where people have these like recorders in their heads, and so what he does is he takes the recording out of somebody's head and like he sifts through it's basically somebody who's recorded their entire lives. Like this recorder records everybody's entire life, and it'll do audio and video. So what he'll do is that he'll cut together like a POV version from somebody's life, like their entire 80 years down to 5 minutes. And
I need to see this. Final Cut, you said?
Final Cut 2004. And I think at some point like he gets hold of somebody's recording that's like ascended or something. Somebody's been murdered like in a wrong way, and he gets chased, and so he has to like not get killed basically. But it's an interesting movie. It has to do with future stuff and things like that. It's a lot of fun. Definitely watch it. I think it kind of like went under the radar, and not a lot of people have seen it. So,
Well, some of the best stuff is the stuff that's not seen by everybody. Avatar 1 and 2 are some of the most watched movies of the modern age, and I mean, they look pretty, but I don't think they have a ton of substance.
I love how 2 made so much money, but yet like has not moved the zeitgeist needle at all. Like people watched it and liked it, but like it's not had the same impact like a lot of movies have had. Like it was, I guess people have just liked it and that's it, and that's that's all. Because I mean, it made a lot of money, but I don't think it's like people like there's not like action figures and posters and costumes and like things like that of it. It's just weird.
Now, let me hit those buttons for our friend Shrubbles08, even though he's mad at you, Nick. So you requested a Joe Rogan Slapnut and a Flash Ludicrous Speed. So, here is your Joe Rogan Slapnut right here.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
It's Mr. Flatnut to you.
Down goes Beetlejuice's right.
Okay, yeah, there was a documentary called The Problem with a Poo that came out in, what the fuck was it? 2017. And Hari Kondalapoo, oh god, was the one who was mad at it. And I don't think this guy has done very much, honestly. He just looks, funny thing is he looks exactly like a poo, I swear to god. That's
why
weird.
he's mad.
He looks like the face he has is like a Simpsons face, but like in a 3D real life render. It's very strange.
Folks, he's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I apologize for my tardiness, but I had to get it fucking done. Get it done for my people, for my team, for my motherfucking homies. We in this bitch.
All right, folks. We're going to press this super chat button, and then we're going to start our Flash review. And for those listening in the future, you'll never know about this little prelude to the episode because I'm going to edit this out. So we're gonna use this just like in the movie, Dion. We're going to use the Flash to go back in time.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
What have I done? My brains are going into my feet.
What the hell was that? Spaceball 1. They've gone to plaid.
And now we're back at 9:23. Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is the one, the only, Dion Green.
Baby, boys and girls, children of all ages. Listen. Always know that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter who you are with, Uncle Dion loves you. And yes, she was a little bit old. And yes, maybe older than usual. And yes, you did things that you didn't do to another human being in a long time. But God damn it, I love you. And that's okay.
You sound just like yourself, Dion.
Oh,
that man chuckling in the background is the last standing Samoan Big Rig Nick Utown.
Dion's getting rubber sheets for Christmas.
I mean, probably a
shit.
good idea.
You're getting a double set then, because that's what I bought you. Nick, did you get the fucking Memorial Day special? Cause
Yeah,
that's what
I did, man. I did 3 for 1. Yep, I got him.
Jeff Bezos knows our show very well.
We're a bunch of perverts.
That is true. That's our next show, A Bunch of Perverts, where we talk about the fetishes of the... Actually, that would be a terrible idea for a podcast.
That sounds like the other podcast I produce as well.
Well, then you'll be pretty good to go on that one.
And that's a good podcast as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Now, folks, it's time to start our Flash review. But before we do, real quick, all I want to say is this for housekeeping. One, you could come hang out with us in just about 2 months. 2 months' time, we'll be at the Horror Hound Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. So you can come up there, hang out with us, get drunk, buy some stuff. I'll be selling art prints. We'll have Wokebusters, pre-sign-ups, and all sorts of cool things. And remember, folks, if you pre-order a copy of the book in person, you get to take a photo op with the Proton Pack. So be on the lookout for that information. Well, that is the information, so be prepared for that. And pretty much, it's time to start the Flash review. So, Dion, are you ready to talk about this damn show, this movie?
I was born ready, motherfucker.
You were born ready in 1989 to talk about a movie that wouldn't come out until 2023? Same
That's
for
right.
me, except I was born in 88.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's a very similar destiny.
So, The Flash is the first solo outing for the hero, the character, The Flash, starring Ezra Miller in the titular role. But that's why no one is going to see that movie. Everyone's going to see that movie for one man, Michael Keaton, his return to Batman. Everybody loves Batman 89, and everybody is nostalgic for the past. And so that's what Warner Brothers did. They gave us Batman 89 Part 3. There was Batman Returns, Batman Returns, and then whatever the hell you want to call this one. But this movie is out. A lot of people are talking about it. It's probably one of those controversial movies of the season. Is that a dog in the background? I hear something. And anyway, we're here to talk about it. So, Dion, prior to the release of this film, were you excited?
I was. There were obviously, I'm on a podcast and I have other reasons for wanting this movie to come out. But yeah, I think objectively speaking, obviously before we realized that a certain somebody who will eventually be named in the marquee of this movie, who likes to try to kidnap motherfuckers, that was before all that. But I legitimately was. I was interested to see what they were going to do with the whole multiverse concept. So I would say yes. There was a elongated way to say yes. I was excited.
Now, Nick, you're not as big of a superhero fan as we are, but did you have any interest? On a scale of 1 to 100, what was your number of interest in this one?
About 1 to 100, about 38. I'm probably gonna check it out this weekend, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to use my Regal membership or whatever to get in for free or something. This way, I don't have to actually pay for it. Because I want to see it, but I don't want to pay for it. I'm curious, but not enough to shell out money for it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I paid nothing to see this movie, a whopping 50 cents because I have a Regal Unlimited pass. And that's about the right price for me. This movie, we're going to talk about it right now, folks, and we're going to talk about it for a couple minutes before spoilers. But all you want to hear about is the specifics, the cameos, all the bullshit they try to hide into this movie to make it seem like it's a fun time, a must-see movie of the season. So, I don't really like The Flash that much. I don't dislike The Flash. He's a fine character. He's what I would call a second-tier DC character for me, meaning if I'm going to buy a DC book, it's always going to be Batman, then Superman, then the Green Lantern, and then The Flash. I'll buy him before I'll buy Aquaman or Wonder Woman and stuff like that. So I don't hate The Flash, but I'm also not the biggest Flash fan. I'm not Andrew Caffeinated Wolf. So tonight, we went and saw this movie, and it was odd to watch because the Snyderverse is clearly over, but this movie starts out like it's got all of these years ahead of it. More Snyderverse. Because it was, I don't know about you, Dion, but I thought the opening of this movie was legit. It had Batman and The Flash and Wonder Woman and Alfred, and I was like, all right, I like all these versions of the characters outside of The Flash. I wouldn't be mad if they did this 5 years ago and we were going to get more to follow up, but the world we live in, this shit's DOA. We're going to have James Gunn reboot it in a couple of years, so I couldn't get invested in the story because I know it meant nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a way to look at it, man. For me, especially at this point in time, where you don't want to spend anything, Nick ain't gonna spend anything. My ass just spent $67 to see the movie. Take my family to go see it. So
okay.
Yeah, so that was that. Yeah, I was $67 to go see that motherfucker. So my perspective is a little bit different. That all being said, for me, again, my bias, being a comic book fan, being on a pop culture show, going into it, I wanted to see what they were going to do. Especially the timeline that we've had since the announcement of them doing a multiverse movie alongside, No Way Home and eventually Multiverse of Madness and all that bullshit. I was interested to see what they would do, and they definitely, the way it starts out, I don't know if I go into that much detail, but it definitely is enough where when the movie starts, it's an existing universe picking up from the Justice League movie. And if anything, it definitely they really wanted you to feel like, yep, this is established, this is a thing. And it did, especially going into the first action sequence and all that shit. It did. It felt like, okay, this is an established universe that we're in, not the same disjointed shit we were getting from the beginning of the whole, Snyderverse with Superman and all that.
Yeah, there were so many things, like, folks, this isn't going to be one of those reviews where we just openly shit on a movie for 2 hours, because we're not even going to talk about the show for 2 hours, but it starts out fairly okay. The slow motion sequence at the hospital was a little weird. Like, the Flash puts a baby in a microwave.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, that's not a joke.
So that was a meme that was going on Twitter and shit. That, he puts a baby in the microwave, and technically, it quite literally, yes.
Okay, yeah, because I remember like seeing that on Twitter, and I was like, okay, whatever, funny. And now that you guys say it, I'm just like, oh, okay, and I'm sure he does it to like save the baby, like kind of like Indiana Jones in the refrigerator, but instead of a refrigerator, they put a baby in a fucking microwave.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that I going into the spoil free review, there's so much. Seeing where all the major studios are in terms of CGI is hilarious, and it's only hilarious because of how far back WB is, despite their animation catalog being so awesome.
Yeah, have you seen today that they're trying to... Yeah, Darien 2 and 7, we'll do that in a second, for sure. But this is unrelated to the actual thing, but can you believe they're trying to put out stuff how... Oh, the special effects, the CGI is supposed to look bad. It's supposed to be bad. It's supposed to look weird. Like, what movie says that shit?
Yeah, I have not seen that. That's hilarious if that's the case.
Yeah, that came out from the director today on Twitter, Andy Muschietti. So
about Flash?
Yeah, the effects are supposed to look that bad.
Hey guys, you know that very very like tense scene we had. You know when you saw the mic in the top corner of the shot the entire time. Yeah, that was an artistic choice. Yeah, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, why?
That's a bad excuse, Andy Muschietti. You
Say,
did better with it,
dude. Just say we fucked up. That's all you have to say. We know you're full of shit. We don't believe anything you say. Just go ahead and admit it. It's fine.
Yeah. But no, they got to save face. So, now if anyone out there has read the film or the comic book Flashpoint, you know the premise of this movie. It's very cut and dry. The Flash realizes he can try time travel, so he goes back to save his mom so she doesn't die and unravels the entire universe. Reality is changed. And this is another adventure into the multiverse, which 2 weeks ago, we watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Other things have a multiverse. And now the DC multiverse is here. And yes, it does feel very much like a trying to play catch-up. It's like, oh, DC's got to copy Marvel's homework because they got the multiverse, so now we need the multiverse. That to me just reeks of like trying to catch up, and it's not that exciting. It's like, hey, you remember that great meal you had? Well, here's a lesser version of it right now. Yeah, no thanks, I'm not hungry. You should eat it anyway. Like, that's how it really feels with Warner Brothers. They're like, hey guys, we know you like this trend, so here's our take on it. We're only a couple years late, and, thanks. It's nice to see Batman, but it's also not enough to see Batman.
And just to kick it off for those waiting, I want to give my rating early because after the conversation, I do want to hear Jeff and Nix, if you guys will indulge me for a little bit here. But
Of course.
I'm going to give you my rating, and then over the course of the conversation, so I gave it a 6 out of 10. And specifically, I want to give it to your point. Warner Brothers is very clearly in a very interesting spot. And it definitely feels, that's one reason, one of the biggest reasons why I just give it a 6 out of 10. It's a movie. It's on the positive side of a movie. And if you go and see a movie that's kind of like the Flashpoint Paradox, this is going to be it. In a perfect world, and just real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
But in a perfect world, that's not the end of the world. But with everything going on, the Flash is this weird movie where everything that made the Zack Snyder verse not work, but there were pieces in it. They took one of the pieces and brought it to the super corporate where we're just going to make a movie of this property and build it around what we thought worked in the Snyderverse, but they picked the wrong piece. And so now they made a movie around it, and it's like kind of the thing, but like you said, it's not. And it's such a weird position. Like, speaking of the concept of multiverses, The Flash is what would happen if Marvel got Phase 1 wrong.
Keep going. Tell the audience more, because I agree with that.
Well, say what you were saying first.
No, I was going to say, you and I have roughly the same score.
Yes. Yeah.
I really think it's about a 6 out of 10. My biggest complaint is how goofy the movie is. The humor doesn't land at all. Like, I didn't laugh at any of the parts that were supposed to be funny. And neither did my audience. We all just kind of sat there. The very last line of dialogue, Dion, and we'll wait till we get to the spoiler part, that's what cracked me up. That was the part where I was like, ha! And I started losing it because how dumb it was. But other than that, that's where I'm going to live with it. A 6 out of 10.
Yeah, man. Like, that one joke landing, and to your point about no one laughing, I was the only motherfucker laughing in this movie. And then everyone laughed at the end. With the point the thing that you're referencing that we'll get to with the spoilers. I was the only dude laughing at the other stuff. That all being said, it's so weird because that reason that made it, you want to give it like a set, like you want this movie to be better. And then when you take into the context of everything going on, you knew that this movie had to be better. And it's just on the positive side of okay. And it's because of the jokes didn't fucking land. And the characters that they have in it, it's, we know that the Flash is a thing that we own, but we don't get the Flash. We just made this movie. And it is the Flash. And we have people call him the Flash and say things. And you're like, that's the Flash. And this is a comic book movie. But we're that the seed you should not have planted.
You're right about this, dude. Like, I, for one, being on the other side of okay is not that great. Like,
right.
Am I gonna suggest people go out and rush out to see this movie? Well, wait till we get to the everything.
Right.
Because it's hard to discuss. I mean, anytime that both Flashes are talking to each other, it's kind of annoying. Because if you don't like Ezra Miller, you're gonna hate this movie because he's not only the lead, he's the lead times 2. And this Barry and Barry shit, it gets a little grating, especially with like younger, longer-haired Barry, who's annoying as shit and doesn't shut up. And yeah, that becomes a plot point. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't care if it becomes a plot point at the end. I have to live and sit through this movie right now, and it pisses me off. So,
Well, my thing, and make no mistake, America, while you guys are listening, especially those of you guys who listen to the show often, there are moments where part of our review is being confused, and that's 100% legitimately how the movie goes. It is, like, it's literally on the good side of okay when they don't know. So, think when we first watched the Justice League movie, just to kind of segue here in a little bit, we were like one of the only people on the internet that were saying it's not a bad movie, and everyone was kind of shitting on it. And that obviously became what became the Snyder remake or whatever, right? And one of the things that we said in that review originally was that if anything, Flash is in it and he's annoying. Like he's not the Flash that you read from the comic books. Whereas, I do like the Flash. I'm not a huge know everything about the Flash, but I like the Flash. I like the Justice League. I love the Justice League. And they picked Ezra Miller, as we said in that previous review of Justice League, and he is one reason why the Justice League movie is just okay. Now, imagine them taking the just okay part, not any of the good stuff that you like about the Justice League movie, and then putting that in the multiverse movie. And that both of them are not just annoying. You can tell the influence that No Way Home had on DC. Like we are still getting when we were first jumping into this and the DC thing came out, Jeff made the metaphor of DC has the Corvette and they're just taking a key and hit. It's still a beautiful car, but they keep keying the paint. And they're still there. And they don't want you to watch a Flash movie. They want you to watch a Flash movie that kind of reminds you of Spider-Man.
Yeah. DC definitely chases the money that Marvel creates. And it's really weird how they had beat Marvel Comics to the punch by decades. I mean, Superman is 1937, right? Mm-hmm. Or 38. And Batman is right after that. And the Marvel Comics universe didn't start until 1962 or 61 with the Fantastic Four. Like, they had so many decades to beat them to the punch, but he who does it first on film is the one who really just does it first. I mean, Flashpoint is 2010 or early 2011, but the Spider-Verse is a couple of years after that. So again, even in print, DC's doing these concepts before Marvel. But because Marvel does it first on screen, they technically win. And I hate to be a Marvel fanboy, because I'm not, but like Marvel did the multiverse stuff better across the board. This movie, it's weird because jumping back into the plot, the Flash goes back in time to save his mom, undoes everything, goes to see his mom and runs into his past self. And then, they realize, oh, General Zod's coming to Earth. This is all in the trailer still. And so they need to stop him. And so the Flash is like, I'm going to find everybody that's left of the Justice League and form the team myself. And then all that's there is Michael Keaton Batman. And the rest of the plot. They have to rescue Supergirl. They have to fight General Zod. And that's not that entertaining. Like, Michael Keaton stuff, everything that you've seen, folks, in the trailer is what's in the movie. There's only two extra scenes, and we won't tell you about the one until the end. But there's like 2 extra scenes that aren't in the trailer. Like the Let's Get Nuts and the stuff with him in the Batcave and all that crap that you see in the trailer. That's the meat and potatoes of his appearance in this movie. Or when they go to Siberia to do shit. Like that, again, that you've seen in the trailer. That's pretty much it. Like all the great Batman action scenes, you've seen. The times where he's fighting in the Batplane, you've seen. All they do is just play the Danny Elfman theme song over and over and over again. And it's cool. Like, believe me, it was my favorite part of the movie. Right. But, like, if you're paying to see that is not that big of a part of this movie. You're going to have to be prepared for a lot of Ezra Miller, 2 times the Ezra Miller, and I hope you care about his subplot and his friendships and his relationships because it is a Flash movie. They are selling you that it is a Batman movie all day, every day, but it is a Flash movie first.
And just to jump in on that specific point, at the same time, even though this is a to the late party on the multiverse thing, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So they give an explanation. It's not a terrible explanation, and they have, of course, Batman explain it, right? So the things that make this movie a 6 and make it to where it's not failing, those are the parts that are pretty good. So, and sticking with the non-spoiler part, what's in the trailer. So the movie starts, obviously that he's the Flash. They reference the people in the Snyderverse heroes, and then he does the thing to go back in time. And then it's a very specific explanation. It doesn't undo the movie, and it's not one of those explanations where they lose track of it. So I'll say that. It's done well enough but it's still late to the party type of deal.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's because I've watched the cartoon of this, and that one was really fun and exciting. And when I saw that, like, it's Supergirl as opposed to Superman, I was like, because I remember the scenes in the cartoon, and it's it's obviously different, but she's wearing the same kind of outfit that he is in that cartoon, and I was like, oh, this is why they changed it, because they thought this was a good idea.
And to that point, so it being Supergirl, the explanation makes sense, and it does stay in line with the Flashpoint paradox. So for those of us that have seen the Flashpoint paradox is still better. It's still better. And for those of you who have not seen Flashpoint Paradox, the animated movie, this should encourage you to watch it. It is better. And for those of you who are going to watch the animated movie and haven't read it, read Flashpoint Paradox. So the movie, it sucks that the movie's not one of the best iterations of this story, but it's good enough where it'll encourage you to check out the other material.
I barely ever watch comic book movies or things like that from DC, and I was convinced because I knew this movie was coming out. I was like, I'm gonna check out the cartoon, and I watched it and I was like, this is a lot of fun, man. This it's dark, it's gritty, a lot of fun things happen. Like things have gone to shit. He's got to redo stuff, and it was really good. But I can't like watching the trailer for this movie. I'm like, I can't imagine any of it is good, because and it's really dumb because like DC can differentiate themselves from Marvel and Disney. They can do that, and what you guys are saying about them copying them, I hope this is the last like thing that they try to copy from them is this whole universe thing. I hope with James Gunn and the reboot of all this bullshit, they at least get their heads on straight and out of their asses, and start to do some like darker toned things, not darker looking things, but like darker toned things,
yes,
and towards the R realm where like they can get the adults in and get that money.
And to that point, I will say early on, it is good. It is good. It is 100% honesty from Dion Green, the world class bullshitter. I would put my stake on this show that that they do the concept well. It's just they don't go as far as they should have. And specifically to your point, Nick, the thing that differentiates you from Marvel, the thing that differentiates you from the other Disney properties with the multi-universe thing, is to make it serious. The issue with this movie is the comic book and the animated movie are better, and you should have done that. In the comic book, in the comic book and in the movie, you see people die, and you see people do that here as well. But in the comic book, there are gory parts. There are adult themes. This was the chance to capitalize on Joker that you should have taken, and you didn't. You went with the safe movie, and we're gonna see the fucking fallout for that shit. Because I guarantee you, if you did what Nick just said, a guy who doesn't watch or read this shit a lot, to see in the animated movie / comic book, it's not Supergirl, it's Superman. And when they find him, instead of him landing in Kansas, he's been in a fucking government facility the whole time. Yeah. And he's like underdeveloped mentally. Right? And that's an adult theme. But they don't do that in the movie. They make it very safe. They explain it, and it does make sense. And you say, okay, but the property you're using, that difference hits a lot more. And this one is just, we want you to know that there's a change, and we want you to understand the concept of a multiverse, but we don't want it to be too serious.
Yeah, they should have kept the stakes. I mean,
yes.
Before we get into spoilers, I'll say this. The only time I had any kind of like emotional investment was at the end of the movie in the courtroom scene. When the dad they were reading the verdict to the dad, because I like the actor Ron Livingston, but like, even the stuff that's supposed to be heavy and serious, just kind of, Ezra Miller doesn't convey the emotions very well, and it takes me out of the story. I don't find myself rooting for his cause, and I'm close with my mom, so a story about trying to save your mom should be hitting home for me, and I'm just like,
listen, my mom is actually dead, and for someone who has a dead mom, you're like, I don't care if Flash wins here. And that's the problem with the movie. It's a Flash movie where both versions are so annoying. You don't see Ezra actually acting but for a few seconds. And a part of it, it's not him. Even though Ezra is crazy. And this movie isn't good enough to save his ass. I'll say that. Excuse me. This movie's not good enough to save their ass.
Thank you, Dion. I don't want to be a bigot on this channel.
Well, listen, I'm trying to be respectful. I know, the mouth breather's gonna be mad. Blah, 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 blah. You can't fight, so shut the fuck up. But
if only they knew, Dion. If only they knew.
Listen, the real world's a motherfucker, ain't it? But with Ezra, and I was saying, and we had talked about this multiple times, and we were talking about it on the way home when we were all chit-chatting about the movie. In the real world, in the world that we've been telling you on this podcast, studios don't give a shit about Twitter, right? As long as you make them money, they will find a way to get you out of shit, right? Armie Hammer's in deep shit because his shit got so deep and he wasn't selling movie tickets. All his movies were flops. That's why he's fucking going away. It ain't just because he deserves to. It's because that motherfucker was in the remake of The Lone Ranger. If that movie sells a bunch of tickets, nobody cares. And they wanted that for Ezra. And this movie, again, it's good, but it ain't gonna make $1 billion. And
I don't think it's gonna make very much money at all.
I think it'll do the same that the first Justice League did. Like it's technically a positive, but it ain't Marvel money.
Well, the Justice League is actually considered a huge flop.
Well, yeah, because in the end of with the marketing and all that for sure. But it total it made like 700 something million, 800 something million. Because isn't technically Batman vs Superman a flop too when you take into account what the marketing probably was. So it'll be like that.
Well, Justice League brought in 657 at the box office. So on a $300 million budget.
Right.
According to Deadline, Warner Brothers lost $60 million.
That's with an okay movie, it's possible here. When you spend, I won't say that they're going to lose 60 million, but if they break even is the highest that this movie's going to do because it's just okay. Like again, I had fun because I went, I drank, I pregame a little bit. I took some California drinks, so I was already goofy and I had a good time. But I promise you, everybody else that went and see it wasn't in the same position. So I can see some people being like, that wasn't, that's going to be the general theme of this fucking movie.
I was a stone cold sober viewer, and everyone in my theater was, I assume, and nobody had any reaction to this movie. I mean, Michael Keaton Batman got a couple people clapping, a couple other cameos got the same guy clapped for all these parts, but it's like, other than that, the audience did not give a shit. And I don't think many of you out there are going to give too deep of a shit if you miss this movie. This is prime for streaming. Like, if there's nothing in this movie that I go, you gotta see it on the big screen and experience it with the audience. It's like, the effects kind of suck. It'll probably look better on your TV anyway, folks.
Yeah,
to kind of deviate for half a second, I can't wait to go watch Oppenheimer in IMAX.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that trailer again today. It looked good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited as hell for Oppenheimer.
Well, I guess it's not necessarily superhero fatigue. I just want my movies to have a little more substance. Like, as we get ready to start talking about this movie in depth, I thought that it was, it could have been deeper, but all they did is basically make fun of Back to the Future again, like they do in Avengers. See,
that was one of the few good parts of the movie. The bits that you could tell they were trying to make a movie. And again, I don't want to get into spoilers. We'll obviously look into that later. But the Back to the Future references, the other character references, even bringing the Snyderverse characters back in and referencing those films. those parts are pretty good. You know, but you're referencing something that wasn't very good to begin with. And I think that's where the disjoint was for me. Where, you know how to make a movie. The people that got mad at the CEO of Warner Brothers for saying they're going to focus on making good films, this is what he was talking about, right? You know, this corporate knee-jerk to following Marvel, you know, this is what you get. So even when you try to make a good movie and there are parts where you're like, okay, you know, Ezra can act. You know, the end of the movie where he's actually the Flash, you're like, okay, this ain't bad. You know, but it's just too little, too late, and you can just tell, you know, they are waiting to give James Gunn the keys to the other kingdom. This movie is just it's so average.
It ruins the movie, honestly, because going in knowing that none of this matters is gonna piss you off, folks.
Well, the people that they keep, they're gonna still be in it. I think, again, Jason Momoa at the end, his job is safe. This movie not doing well for Ezra, we don't know. That's gonna be the fun part in watching. But they're gonna keep elements. He's gonna keep elements. They're marking what they're gonna keep. Don't get it fucking twisted. While we may not see certain other people, they're putting their eggs in certain baskets. And even though this movie's okay, and there's going to be fallout, you can tell who's fucking coming back.
Who do you think's coming back? I don't think anybody's coming back in
Jason
this movie,
Momoa
dude.
is coming back.
You think so?
With the end of that movie, the way they did it, 100%. Especially with Aquaman 2 coming back, whatever seed they planted with this multiverse thing, he's the one they're going to stick with. We'll see what the fall is after the Flash with Ezra and what the fuck's going to happen to Ezra. But yeah, dude, his shit is safe, 100%.
Well, the thing is, there's an Aquaman 2 coming out. I think that's why we're seeing that. The way I look at this movie is, we're looking at the last remnants of things when they had a plan, when they had an idea. If you had a chance but you don't have a chance, you better run lickety-split. Yeah. The thing is, DC does not know what they are going to do. It's like either pandemic pushed them back or other things pushed this back. Like, this movie, it just feels so... I don't know how to describe it. So let's start talking about some of the specifics and some of the things. Like, I can't wait. We won't talk about it right this second, but once we get to Nicolas Cage Superman, that's the part that I want to fucking talk about.
Yes.
Oh my god, it happened.
It would happen. They redid the whole fucking famous Kevin Smith scene that he talks about from, what is it, John Gruber or John Peters or whatever his name is, with the giant fucking spider.
Oh my god. Well, we got
and that was one of the better parts of the movie.
Well, we got that giant spider in Wild Wild West, so it's fine.
Right.
Ha.
Wow, West.
So, as we said, folks, in the non-spoiler part, this movie is about the Flash going back in time to save his mom from getting killed. And it starts out with the hospital scene. Batman, I thought the lasso of truth part was pretty funny, where Batman and the Flash are touching the lasso of truth.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, I use this to hide my childhood trauma. And the Flash is like, I know what sex is, but I've never had it. And I was just like, oh god, is it going to be this kind of movie? And it fucking was. Anytime the Flash made jokes, you just kind of rolled your eyes.
And to my earlier point, that part specifically about they want you to remember No Way Home, that was part of it.
Well, and like the I don't know, the lasso of truth thing, I always remember seeing it as a cartoon. I know this is kind of off topic, but I kind of want to address it. But whatever they've shown the lasso of truth in these movies, it's always been like people are just talking the truth. I've always seen it as like one woman would tie the person, the henchman, the bad guy up, and then ask them questions, and they would have to answer the truth. They wouldn't just start talking the truth. Like, is that how it works, or are they like skewing the fucking lasso?
You're right. It used to be kind of like, she would use it and talk, but now they just, ever since the Snyder version, well, I guess it's the Joss Whedon version, but ever since they started touching it, they just like open up emotionally. So.
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, because that's always been my thing. Like, whenever I've seen it in cartoons or even in the old like fucking 70s show, like that was always the thing. Is like she would tie up the bad guy. And she's like, where's this? Where's that? And the guy would be like, oh, it's over here. I can give you directions if you keep me tied up in this rope. Like, it's one of those things,
Well, I think when we first reviewed the Justice League, one of the few parts that were actually funny was when Aquaman is sitting on the fucking lasso and he's like, "Well, actually, I'm actually really scared." Blah, 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 blah. And I understand that the fatigue portion is going to have an effect on how people see the movie. For me, again, I'm with you. I like that part, and it was funny. It's very indicative of also what is wrong with Warner Brothers right now in terms of the DCEU and the issues we'll see if James Gunn's gonna address them. But that here's something that's actually funny, but we're gonna try and use it to be too cheeky with the whole Flash. I know what sex is, but I haven't had it. Blah, blah. It's like, God damn it, he doesn't have to be Peter Parker. He's not the Spider-Man of the Justice League. It's a prime example of what Zack Snyder didn't get about the fucking movies. But at the same time, it was like, this one is still kind of funny. Where he's like, actually, if I wanted to take care of crime, I would attack poverty. And they're trying to get it off of his wrist. So Batman's arm, because she pulled him up, it's still in the lasso. So him and then Flash is trying to help him and take it off too. So that's why they start, just blabbering. But yeah, the whole them talking thing, like they know what the lasso of truth is. It's the lasso of truth, not the lasso of start talking.
Gives you the gift of gab.
Yeah,
right. They don't understand what it actually. But they're so, because it's the Warner Brothers movie portion and not the motherfuckers who make the animated part of the movie. They still haven't understood the concept of she hasn't asked them anything yet, and that's since the Justice League movie. So since the Justice League movie, which was 2017, for 6 years, these motherfuckers have done gags with the lasso of truth, and people just start talking. Like, you guys have to read a couple Wonder Woman comic books to get it.
Hell, man,
just read the fucking comic books.
Yeah, look at me. Just watch the old show and some cartoons, and you'll understand how it fucking works. Like, it's not rocket surgery, man. Come on.
Yeah. Like that was always the thing, and that's why, again, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with everything the motherfucker says, but Aaron Schurker, who does Bat in the Sun, that's why it's important that when you do these movies, sometimes give one of those motherfuckers the reins, right? Because when he did Wonder Woman versus Wolverine, conceptually, is still better than what we got with the DCU. Like, where she's fighting Wolverine and she uses the lasso and he can't break it, and she says, "Why won't you die?" And then, because he's enthralled in the lasso of truth, he tells her. The DCEU, they're like, it's just like, we know that we have this property, and this is the character. And they read the bullet list of the things that Wonder Woman does, and they just keep hitting the bullet points. That's why 1984 was so disjointed. It's people who know how to make a movie, but don't know how to make a movie based on something that's already really good. And it's every fucking time she uses the lasso and they just start talking. Yeah, it's funny. It makes people who have been drinking laugh before they watch the movie. But if you know the character, and even people who don't know, Nick just said it, they just start talking. I don't get it, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has that reaction. That's why the movies aren't that good. They're not idiots.
The one thing that was decent about the Wonder Woman scene is in every Wonder Woman movie, they do a Wonder Woman upskirt shot, and they don't really try to make it obvious, but they do. And this one has it as well, Dion. So, were you happy about that at least?
I was. I mean, Gal Gadot's good looking, so, I can't be like, too mad at him.
Wonder Woman booty shot is always welcome.
You damn right. That's my boy.
Yeah, she's become a little bit insufferable here and there, but it's fine. She's still good looking.
Listen, just imagine a world without possessions, Nick. Come on.
Oh, go fuck yourself, John Lennon. Now, let's move on with the plot and get into the specifics, Dion. So, the Flash goes back in time to, 2013, when he's 18 years old. He's a freshman in college after he saves his mom. And he gets to his house, family's house, and they talk, and he's like hugging his parents, and then he realizes, oh shit, his other self is about to appear. So he puts a pair of his dirty underwear on his face and stops himself. Yeah, that actually happens, folks. And he and the other version of the Flash, they go up to the bedroom and they talk about how, oh man, we got to get you your powers just in case. So they go back to the lab. They get the powers, or they get the new modern day Flash. Or sorry, how do we rephrase this? The 2013 Flash gets his powers, and he accidentally undoes the powers of the regular Flash that got sent back in time. And so they go and they meet Batman. Oh, sorry. Then they go back to the Flash's apartment and they meet the roommates. And by the way, Dion, did you notice that guy looked just like Dan, the Gary guy, in his underwear?
I did. Yep.
It was uncomfortable how much he looks like Dan, Nick.
I was
well, now, okay, I have to watch a movie just for that now.
My life. Don't reflect my life. And also for those who know, like one of his friends is that motherfucker from Vine, and he's just as annoying in the small point of time that he's in this movie. Like, they want him to be what's his name from Ant-Man, and he's just not.
Luis?
Yes, they want him.
Well,
to be
nobody's
Luis.
as good as Luis in this movie. Like, Disney may suck these days, but at least some of their older movies had better casting choices than this one.
Yeah.
Now,
So Manny Mancuso, go fuck yourself. That's a what's the opposite of a shout out? A shoot up? It's a shoot up to Manny Mancuso. Fuck you. You're annoying on Vine. You're still annoying. I know who you are. I still know that you do annoying, weird shit. And no, it's not 2016 anymore, bitch.
so now, Nick, the way they actually denote that he's in an alternate timeline / alternate reality is that Eric Stoltz plays Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Yes.
That is literally the plot point of how they figure it out. He
Dude,
goes,
that reminds me of fucking Last Action Hero. Have you seen
Yep.
Stallone? He's really good in these movies.
so, like, the roommate has an Eric Stoltz Marty McFly tattoo. You learn that he's like, but Marty McFly is played by Michael J. Fox. You mean the guy from Footloose? No, that's Kevin Bacon. You mean the guy that's in Top Gun, the gay movie with the... They call it the gay... they literally call it the gay volleyball movie.
Yeah, the gay volleyball movie.
Well, I think that's reference to Tarantino's like whole like fucking spiel about it.
Yeah, Tarantino has a weird spiel about something. We'll color us fucking surprised.
I mean, Dion loves Tarantino and his use of colorful language, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
Let's just say he'd have been beat up. Like, he doesn't have black friends. Like, hey, man, this is the fourth movie, dog. Like, we got to talk about some shit, bro. You can't keep saying it, dude.
Yeah, and then he hands you a six-figure check. All right, man, say what you want.
Yes, exactly. I mean, all in all, you know.
All right, man, I'm here for
Tarantino
31
knows
days,
his
goddammit. You
homies.
get 31 days, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight for this car, but don't abuse it, goddammit. And the last one, and Paul, you did that shit in Pulp Fiction. You know, you look too weird to be saying that. You know what I'm saying? So, let alone to a killer. You know what I mean?
Now, so after they're in this apartment making all these 80s movie references, he figures out that Batman is the only living member of the Justice League. And everyone's like, Batman? I know Batman. In their world, Batman was a hero back in the day, and he's since retired. So they go to Wayne Manor, and it's the Wayne Manor from Batman 89.
To jump in, they do what they should have done for not the Dark Knight Returns, but it was based on that for Batman vs Superman. They took what they should have done and did it in this movie, and that's why it feels weird. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, dude, I'm glad I lived through this movie, and I'm glad it's over. But we get to the Wayne Manor, and this hobo with long hair and a beard beats up Barry, and it's Michael Keaton Batman. That's the scene we didn't tell you about in the spoiler-free part. Like, he's living in the house looking like Howard Hughes, and he cooks. And he explains the timeline with a bowl of spaghetti. He says some things are concurrent, and then they diverge, but then overall it's just a big mess.
Okay, well, the bowl of spaghetti is, I think, it's from Quantum Leap because, like, oh, the strings meet points, and this is how it works, and yeah, okay.
They didn't even get that shit original. They copied that shit too.
Yeah, because there's a couple of scenes. I remember there's an episode of that show where he talks about what Quantum Leap is and how it works. And he's like, oh, there's this piece of string is, you know, your life, and when you roll it up like that, you know, points meet each other, and this is where we intersect, and this is how it can work. I'm like, okay. That's what so they basically copied that from Quantum Leap. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So Batman interacts with the two Flashes, and he's like, look, I retired. I'm not going to help you. Because
After a goofy fight scene.
Yeah, after a goofy fight scene in a kitchen. Because, you know, General Zod has just appeared on Earth, like at the end of Man of Steel. And they're like, without Superman, what are we going to do? We'll get Batman to help us. And Batman doesn't want to help. So the the Flash kind of yells at his other self to take this seriously because Batman lets him use the Batcave. And, it's cool to see the Batcave. It's a modern day version of the one from '89. It's got the car, it's got the computer, it's got the chair. It's, like I said, folks, it's basically Batman 3, the one that you wanted from when you're a kid. And so you get that, and then they decide we got to go rescue Supergirl. Because in this world, Superman doesn't come to Earth as a baby. Supergirl does, and she gets captured by the Russian government, and she's kept in a bunker just like in Stranger Things Season 4. So the Flashes realize they need to go save her, and they do. They go to Russia to save her. It's the 2013 Flash with the superpowers.
So they don't know that it's Supergirl.
Oh yeah, but the audience knows. Like,
No. So just for context of the movie, right? They're going to get Superman. So we all know, and again, this is why DC's done. This is the same company that showed you that it was Doomsday before you should have known that it was Doomsday. And that movie would have been received better, but I don't make fucking movies. So while they're going, Zod is touchdown. Barry relives because he was 18 years old at the time, which you again we'll get to this later in the movie. So he uses the Batcave. He's going to save Superman. They all think that it's Superman. They go to Siberia. They bust in or whatnot, and it's Supergirl. So when they get there, Batman straight up goes, "It's not him. Let's go." Barry saves her. He goes, "I got you," and they leave. And then that's when they say, "Well, what we're gonna do with her?" and all this shit. So they save her. We all know that it's Supergirl. In the context of the movie, they were hoping to find Superman's spot.
And yeah, and to add on that too, folks, like the whole rescue scene, you've seen all the great Batman parts from the trailer, where Batman flies around down the silo and that's literally all of it. There's one extra scene where he, the Flash gets shot in the leg, and he basically, then Batman shields the rest of the bullets from him, and then they run off and they do the joke from '89 where he goes, "How much do you weigh?" And they're like, 180 times 2. And then he puts this bat charge underneath a platform and they explode up to the surface. And that's when Supergirl gets her first touch of the yellow sun. And then she basically absorbs enough of it to fight off the bad guys, but then collapses. So they take her back to the Batcave, Wayne Manor, if you will. And they realize that they need to all team up to fight General Zod, but Barry from 2023 needs superpowers. So they're going to redo the experiment that turns him into the Flash, just like in the comic book. But in the comic book, he gets all burnt up and this and that. In this one, he gets struck by lightning and... Batman puts up a bat kite into the sky to get struck by lightning, just like Ben Franklin. And
this equipment looks like from the Batcave in '89.
You sound like you're 20 years away. Say that again?
Sorry, yeah. So yeah, just that it looks like it's still the same equipment too.
Yeah, I like that though. They don't really update the Batman '89 stuff because he's retired, folks. That's the thing we forgot to tell you. In this world, Batman, he completes his mission. Gotham becomes the safest city in America, and he quits being Batman. He lives at home by himself. That's it. Like, Alfred's dead. He doesn't have a woman. He just lives in his manor and drinks all day because he saved Gotham. And if you wanted to know what happened to Batman '89, there you go. He saves the day. But the experiment doesn't work for the Flash, and so Supergirl comes back, and she flies him up into the sky, and he gets struck by lightning, and then his powers are back. And so other Flash and the Flash and Batman and Supergirl go to fight General Zod in the middle of the desert, which is very boring to look at. Because they didn't want to pay the money to have them fight in a more interesting location.
Yeah, because the desert can be fucking anywhere and it's cheap, so it's fine.
It looks like it. Like, the CGI is fine for the most part. Anytime they're time traveling, it looks like shit. But they fight in the desert, and Supergirl takes on General Zod, and Batman's flying around on the Batwing, and the two Flashes are fighting, I guess what his name would be Non, if this was the original Christopher Reeve Superman. And then all of a sudden, Supergirl gets stabbed and dies, and then Batman commits suicide.
Dear God.
So just a quick little insert there. She comes back, pretty much says, "Because you saved me." Because when they save her, they take her up to the roof. It's for the power of the Yellow Sun. She's getting her powers back and shit. And she essentially goes, I'm not human, I'm Kryptonian. Bye, bitch. And she leaves. And then she goes, she goes to the part in Man of Steel where they're like, hey, give us a Kryptonian, and Superman shows up. So in this world, Superman didn't show up, and that's when shit kicks off. So it's the fight in the desert where Superman didn't show up and be like, hey, yo, bitch, I live here. These are my motherfuckers. Yeah, they're kind of weird, but we're working on that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have them, right? He ain't there to say that shit. So then they start fighting, and when they get back, right before they go to the part where they're fighting in the desert, she's like, hey, you know, why'd you save me? And Flash is like, well, you needed help. And this is after he gets his fucking powers back, and he touches the 18-year-old Flash, and it activates the Speed Force and shit. And then, so he's like alive, because that motherfucker was dead. And I will give him credit, brownie points, for sticking to the fact that it didn't work the first time in the comic book and in the movie, where he's all like fucked up. But because they're playing it safe, and they're not giving you an insight to the gravity of the situation, he's just like kind of dark, and he shows him like veins are showing, and they're implying that he's burned. And for those of you who read the comic book, you know, Thomas Wayne wraps him in bandages and shit because this motherfucker just got struck by fucking lightning directly, and his fucking body's burned. And he's like, we need to get him in the hospital. He's gonna fucking die. And he's like, no, do it again. He's like, if you do it again, you're gonna fucking die. And then he finally becomes the Flash. Like, it's either I'm the Flash, or I'm a fucking weirdo who got struck by lightning twice. The movie, they don't give you that. Like, she grabs him, she picks him up and goes into the sky. She gets him struck by lightning, brings him back. He's a little bit more dark. Like, he's like, he might be from Brooklyn dark, but not like this motherfucker's burnt. Okay, and then
he's got a nice base.
He's got a nice base. Damn, man, you should have a podcast. You're funny as shit. But so then
I'll think about it one day.
Yeah. So 18-year-old Flash is like, no. So like this is one of those snippets where you can see that Ezra Miller can act a little bit, where he's like, fuck, man. He doesn't say fuck, but he goes, no. He's like, oh, no.
Not in this scene. He doesn't say fuck.
Right. In scenes in his personal life, he said it way too fucking much. But
that's the last word of this movie, by the way, folks.
Right. And so then he gets his powers back, and then she's like, you know, why'd you come and save? And that's when they're about to leave, and she's like, why'd you come and save me? Well, you needed help. Blah blah blah. She's like, you know, I'm from here. They sent my cousin. We fucking got split up because plot, and she landed there, and she's like, I'm looking for my cousin. Those aren't my people. That's what she says. The whole thing about hope. She's like, hey, you know what this means? 18-year-old Flash means Superman, and then the current Flash goes, it means hope, doesn't it? And she's like, yeah, we were a hopeful people, and this is why I do like the chick that played. She was like, Zod is not he is not Kryptonian. He's not one of my people. I'll help you fight him. And then you're like, okay. So they kind of do just barely good enough to make it make sense why she helps him, because she is Kara. She's not like, hey, my dad used to tell me that my name should be Kal-El. They didn't go all like super, hey, it's a girl. We want you to know that it's a girl, and it's a girl Superman. Hey, did you see it's
she's
a girl?
Fine.
She's one of the few good parts of this movie. And so when she gets there before she gets killed, that's where they talk about the baby. So that's where they keep it just good enough where she's like, what happened to Kal-El? Because he's giving a spiel, and then she yells and she goes, what did you fucking do? And he goes, the infant didn't make it. And then she goes fucking crazy, and she starts trying to whoop his ass. And they straight up, I mean, they're fighting, you know, and then Flash is trying to help and shit, and they have some cool moments, but she gets fucking stabbed. Like, you find out, like, Zod is just better than her right now. And she fucking gets killed. He takes the fucking genetic material, and then he leaves. And then that's, like, the first time.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, folks. Yeah. After Batman dies and Supergirl dies, the Flashes go back in time to try it again. And this time, Batman flies out of the Batplane, fights the Non, essentially, and Supergirl fights General Zod for a little longer, but then they both die again. Because you had learned earlier in the film that there are certain fixed points in times that must happen. And so a fixed point in time in this movie is that Batman and Supergirl must die, and that General Zod must win in this timeline. So that's kind of the whole point of that scene. It's like time will repeat itself, because they keep trying to go back, and second Barry from 2013. God,
Right.
1913. Jesus, how many timelines are there? I don't know. I got confused. I got lost in my own museum once. But long story short, they realize that they have to just accept it. And so they end up, when they're in the Time Force, the Speed Force stuff, trying to go back again, the two Flashes start to fight, and then all of a sudden Reverse Flash appears, Dion. And I was like,
Yep.
all right, this is going to be cool-ish. And so Reverse Flash is just the Barry Allen who could not accept the fact that he couldn't save everybody, and he went back, I guess, millions of times. They don't ever tell you the amount of times, but it seems like it's millions of times, and he's tried forever and ever and ever. He's got white hair. He's all beat to shit. He looks terrible. And then he ultimately doesn't get it done. So the two Flashes talk about stuff, and then they basically accept that fact. And so the Flash...
Right. So this is like where the part where it, again, you see snippets of the fact that Ezra can act. So they're doing the thing. One of the times when they go back after when they realize that she dies, they go back, they kill Nine, and Barry gets something stuck in his arm. Because in the beginning of the movie, as Barry's running back, he looks off and he sees something. And they kind of tease it that it's one of the black speedsters, which is kind of a bitch move in my opinion. But something just jumps out and just punches him. And so that's how he falls into 2013. And so as they kill Nine, Barry takes his glove off. Because early in the movie, he showed him how to do an attack using the Speed Force charge thing or whatever. And so he does it. He loses his fucking gloves. And he runs back. And then 2013 Flash keeps going back by himself. So he's going back trying to save the day or whatever. And then he's like, Barry, you got to stop. You got to stop. So Zack Snyder Barry stops 2013 Barry eventually. And he's like, dude, you got to stop. And he's like, hey, well, I know that mom dies. And he's like, yeah. He goes, listen, man, this is the fixed point. We have to lose mom. And he's like, no. And he's actually acting here. And it's one of the few reasons it's a 6 out of 10. And he's like, no, blah, 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 blah. And he keeps going back. And every time he loses, he gets a chunk of that universe that becomes like a blade. And so he's getting covered in every time, like he kills Nine or whatever it is. And so then eventually he does it a bunch, and he starts getting pissed, and he goes, no, bitch, I'm the Flash. And then Reverse Flash shows up. That's when Reverse Flash officially shows up. He whoops both their asses real quick. Because he shows up right when 2013 Flash is about to kill Zack Snyder Flash. That's when he shows up, because Barry's like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, fuck, man. And then he shows up. He whoops their ass real quick. He starts saying shit. He's like, I've been doing this. He goes, time's insequential, da-da-da-da. And he's like, yeah, you see his face is all fucked up. He's got all these fucking spines and shit on him. And then they kind of get loose. They fight a little bit. They hit him with the fucking Speed Force charge thing. And then it's his face. He goes, oh, he goes, yeah, I'm you. And that's when he tells him, it's really funny, the amount of time I've been here is insequential. But he goes, the funny thing about time, he goes, I had to stop you to create me. And every time I've gone back, I'm this close, and you're the one who stops me. He goes, you have to fucking die. And then that's when 2013, 18-year-old Flash jumps in front of him, and it's all like goofy dialogue. You can tell this was where the multiverse thing, this was their take on the multiverse. And so they're talking or whatever. He's like, you have to die. And they're looking, and then that's when you see all the different universes that each Flash is in. And again, this is one of the few parts that is actually kind of cool, and why it's a 6 out of 10, is he goes, look, he goes, we have to let it go. We have to stop, because now the universes are colliding. And they're showing...
We have to call this the Power Man 5000 moment, because this is what it's like when worlds collide, Dion.
They have their Power Man 5000 moment. And that's when Reverse Flash is like, you have to fucking die. He goes to kill him. 18-year-old Flash stops him.
Well, hold on. Don't jump past the best part of the movie when the worlds collide, because this is the part the people only care about.
Right.
Now, folks, all of a sudden, as these universes collide, we see a bright sunny rooftop, and here comes Christopher Reeve and fucking Supergirl, played by Helen Slater, and here dun 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 dun, and it looks terrible. It's all rubbery and shitty looking. And then as they're looking at the hole in the space time open up, here comes Adam West Batman. And then there's George Reeves Superman in a black and white universe. And then the shit kicker, all of a sudden you get sucked into a cave, and it's Nicolas Cage Superman, and he fights the giant spider. So for all those out there that know the joke, you get that scene put on film, and it's just okay. It's not like terrible.
This is the one part where it's good, okay. Like they, earlier when Jeff referenced, the whole member berries thing, this is them doing that. This is essentially, the beginning of every DC DVD or whatever, where they show the DC intro. This is that. Like, it looks like that. It looks goofy, because each of the universes you look in, it's them doing something, and they stop and they look, and it's them seeing the tears in the universes. So it's Christopher Reeve. He stops, he turns, and I can never fucking remember her name. I feel so bad. But the woman
Helen
that
Slater?
played, thank you, Helen Slater, who plays Supergirl. She drops down next to him. She's good looking as hell, blonde and everything. And it's them looking. And so then when you go into the cave, for those of you who don't, like you said, knows the joke, fucking Kevin Smith's Superman movie or whatever, it's him fighting this fucking giant thing, and you don't see his face yet, and it's him fighting the fucking thing, and then he kills the fucking spider, and then it's him stopping, and he turns and he sees the fucking thing. And then when the first one, you see somebody running, and it's old Flash from the Golden Era with the fucking tin hat and shit, and it's him, he's running.
Jay Garrick, I forgot about that scene.
And he stops and he fucking turns and looks at it. So it's each of these universes, and so instead of showing, that's when they show Adam West and all that shit too. And it's all them, so they're all seeing the gap in the fucking sky. It's a different fucking universe and shit. And then that's when they're like, see what we're doing? It's tearing the entire universe apart. And it's like, again, it's cool the way they all look like a giant like Coliseum-esque globe, and it's each of these globes are the different universes, and it doesn't look real. Like you could, like what I said earlier, you can tell where each studio is with the CGI. Warner Brothers is still in that, The Mummy Returns with The Rock CGI shit. Like,
that's a good point.
Fake. Yeah. And then you see him, and it's looking, and then that's when he's like, look, guys, we gotta stop. It's tearing the universe apart.
Lisa?
Yeah.
That's what we needed at Tommy Was So Universe. You're tearing this apart, Flash. And then he would have been like, oh shit, okay, I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah, man.
They should have got Tommy to do just one Joker cameo, just one.
That just him screaming.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, just one, like 10 seconds, done.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, go over to his house, set up a green screen, give him the makeup and the outfit, tell him to do his lines, get the fuck out.
Which kind of lines? Cocaine or speaking lines?
Yes.
Yep.
Now, so Dion, after that wonderful kind of hokey scene happens, we get the Flash go back to the time where he doesn't get to save his mom. So he goes into the grocery store and he has a nice scene with his mom, and she doesn't figure out who he is, but she's like, I know I'm just a stranger in a grocery store, but do you need a hug? And so his mom gives him this hug, and he cries and has his moment with her, and he then takes the can of tomatoes, which is the whole inciting incident where, he takes the can of tomatoes and puts it in the cart to make sure she survives. He takes the can of tomatoes back out of the cart, so she has to die. But that's not all that happens. So then we take him, he comes back to the timeline, he realizes he's late for court, he gets to court, and this is where the big timeline shift happens, though. Mm-hmm. So folks, the reason that the Flash's dad could never get exonerated for his crimes or anything like that is because he never looked up on the store footage camera. They always were like, oh man, we can't see your face, we can't really see that it's you. Even after Bruce Wayne's technology goes and cleans up the footage in the other timeline. So in this timeline, all of a sudden, Barry walks into the courtroom, and the lawyer goes, because of technology, we've been able to clean up the footage, and we can see that my client was innocent. And the dad looks up on the camera, and you can see him look into the camera. So the dad gets off, and he goes free. And you learn that the only thing the Flash did differently, even though he let his mom die, is he put the cans of tomatoes up on the top shelf so his dad would have to look up, and that way they could prove his identity in the grocery store. So his dad gets off, and he basically is going to hook up with Iris. And then he gets a call from Bruce Wayne, and he's like, I'm on my way. I'll meet you at the courthouse. And the car pulls up. Somebody opens the door, and it's Bruce Wayne. But instead of Ben Affleck, it's George fucking Clooney. And the Flash goes, what the fuck? And the movie just ends.
So in my theater, he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, what? And Clooney, and he goes, Bruce, you're Bruce Wayne, you're Batman. And George Clooney goes, Barry, what the hell's wrong with you? And he looks around, and then that's the end of the movie. So they even give him like, hey, I'm Batman. And that was the one reference you didn't see in the universes was Joel Schumacher's. And they were straight up just like, Barry, what the hell? Because he's driving the same car and everything. Yeah. Yep. And then that's when it goes to fucking credits. And it's just like, okay. All right.
Yeah, that, I guess George Clooney got his redemption arc, folks.
Which is funny because this one, it doesn't even, not just, give us the whole end arc for George Clooney. But you go through all that, and the shift they chose was the Flash not learning his fucking lesson.
Nope.
Because he does it anyway. Like, again, and that's why it falls down. I wanted to give this movie a 7. I did. I was like, I'm going to have to go, and I'm going to be like, I know, my boys on where they're like, they won't give me shit for it, but they'll be like, okay, bro, a 7, what's up with that, man? But I was like, the reason it falls down to a 6 because you go through all of that, and he does it anyway. Like, the reason why they were referencing No Way Home, and the reason why I know some people don't want to like it, the reason why No Way Home is up there for the Marvel movies and why I love it and why Jeff and I said it righted the ship is because that motherfucker did the thing that made him be shitty Spider-Man. He is fucking got to do this shit from scratch. He got to get his fucking GED. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. Luckily, he's a good-looking white boy, so he'll be okay. Like, but he makes the decision to be shitty Spider-Man. And in Flashpoint, in the comic book, in the goddamn movie, he's like, the thing that he brings back is Thomas Wayne writes a letter to Bruce and gives it to him. He's like, no matter whatever you do, just give this to Bruce. So he goes back and he stops himself from saving his mom. So his mom still fucking dies. And it's not like he gets off with something. Like, my mom dies, but like my dad's okay. Like my mom dies, but like I still get to like, fuck what's her name on the side. And like it's not like his mom's fucking dead. And only the thing that is different is that he gives the fucking letter from Thomas Wayne, Batman, to his son Bruce, Batman. But in this one, you go through all that, and it's like, hey, like that whole melodramatic shit that was earlier, where the CGI it was just bad in our faces, not just the fucking effects, but the fact that every time both Flashes were in the scene together, they looked like shit. Like you went through all that, and I'm gonna save my dad anyway, bitch. Ha ha! I didn't learn my lesson, and I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you, Andy Schmeimer, or whatever the fuck your name is. Fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck DC for that. Yeah, they missed the fucking point of the whole story, and he just does it anyway.
That makes me incredibly angry and sad that they did Christopher Reeves dirty. They made him look like shit because
well, he looks like if they were to make a CGI movie, like that would be okay. Like it's not egregious. But he doesn't look like a person. Like you can tell, it's like a really good video game rendering, kind of.
But he doesn't match the other people in the movie,
right? Like he doesn't look like the other. Like it's just fucking goddamn WB, man.
Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? What are you doing? You know, like you made like it's not. He's not dirty, but it's just you just did a quick CGI fest, and it's not that good.
No.
Yeah, because that's another actor that like I was like, man, he was done dirty, especially because he was crippled for a while there towards the end, like.
But it's like a good. It's a feel good moment of the movie.
Okay.
Where it's an example of what's wrong with the movie, but at the same time, you're like, it's cool for them to reference Christopher Reeve Superman. It's cool for them to reference Adam West, especially since them motherfuckers are dead now. You know, it was cool for them to reference old Golden Era Flash. It annoyed me because it's Kevin Smith. And I don't like Kevin Smith now. But like for those of us that like grew up reading Cracked, and for those of us that grew up, Jeff and I were in college when it was like the nerd thing was becoming cool. Like that people who were excited for Iron Man had all heard about the Kevin Smith movie that was going to be the Superman movie where Nicolas Cage was going to be Superman, and then those pictures came out. Like it was cool for them to reference that, even though it didn't look great. It's him fighting it, and he kills it, and he just turns and looks with the long hair. And I was like, you could have just gotten Nicolas Cage and did that. Because it just looks like the opening to a DC DVD. It's just so, but it was cool to see it, and I'm like, this is y'all's problem. Like you just can't have the Ferrari. You got to scratch it. Like you got to scratch it. Like it can't be great. It's got to be. It's pretty good. Like it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is, and the post-credit sequence, folks, is just the Flash walking out of a bar with Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And it's Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, who else has played Aquaman?
Not only that, but like they with Aquaman 2 coming out, they still dropped that memory of, hey guys, don't worry, Aquaman 2 is still coming out, and they're still friends, and he's drinking, and that's the joke. And he falls into a dirty fucking puddle of water. And he's like, I'm fine here. And he's like, my apartment's right there. And it's like, hey, it's
I'll
Aquaman.
sleep here.
Yeah, he's like, I'll sleep here. And it's like, hey, how like we make jokes about, you can tell where the corporate joke was. Like that was the corporate joke. Like, hey, he's so drunk that he's sleeping in a puddle. And you're like, it's a puddle in the city. What the fuck? Like, That's disgusting. Like, get him out of it. He will get fucking sick. It's piss and rat shit in there. Get him out. Plus, it's Star City. Star City's fucking, it's like San Francisco. People shit on the ground and shit in Star City, man. Ugh. Get him out of the fucking puddle. But what are you doing? He's drunk. I know that you're going to get laid. Like, hey, you're going to fuck the black chick in the movie. But, like, hey, man. Like, he's laying in that. Get him out of there. Like, he's superhuman. He ain't that super. That's human piss in there. Fucking let's go. Dumb. Like, but he's dumb. And that's what pisses me off. Like, this Barry's so. He's like, oh, I'm kind of like Peter Parker, but not. And we're coming from the bar. Because earlier he makes a joke. He's like, hey, you want to hang out, Bruce? He's like, not this time, Barry. And then he's hanging out with Aquaman. So it's like, you guys can't even you can't even finish the joke. You just shove Aquaman in the. I'm like, God, why did they can't? It's just they're so dumb, and it's like, get him out of the puddle. That's not a funny joke. He's gonna get sick. He's Aquaman. He's sensitive. Okay, dirty water. That's the whole thing about Aquaman. Get him out of that, man. It's fucked up.
What is he going to become the Indian from that commercial about polluting the side of the road with litter? He's just going to start crying. Cue sad music.
Come to find out, that guy was actually Italian. He wasn't really Native American.
Hey, acting's acting, bro.
That is hilarious. Gotta love early white America. He's Italian. He looks like an Indian, right? Yeah,
put a headdress on him and some,
get him out there.
and an animal skin. It'll work out. It's fine. People don't know shit.
The next thing you're gonna tell me is the guy in the Village People wasn't really a cop.
I mean, listen, just be glad that.
Hey,
Indian
Jeff,
that
I have a bridge to sell you as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, how much?
Real cheap.
All right, I can do about $3.50. I mean, that's what I wish I paid for this movie. Okay, I only paid 50 cents technically, but overall, it was not a bad time. Folks, it's not egregiously bad. It's not stupidly, offensively stupid. What it is it just relies so much on the member berries. That's what you're paying for to see Michael Keaton Batman. That's what it is. And if you like the Flashpoint comic and the cartoon, well, this is a lesser version than that. But overall, I mean,
it really is, too.
It's not absolute shit. Like, it's nostalgia bait. It's what it is. It's all you're paying for.
It's the Beverly Hills Cop 3.
No, fuck you, Dion. Beverly Hills Cop 3 is better than this movie. Calm down.
Listen,
I don't know about that. I think Beverly Hills Cop 3 is worse than this movie.
Really?
I agree overall, but like the feeling you get when you're watching, you're like, hey, there's Inspector Todd. Oh shit, he's dead. And then you're like, oh, there's Serge. Like, that's cool. And like, he's saying goofy shit. That's good. Oh, we got Billy. Billy's here. We don't got Taggart. We got an older white dude that
Hector Elizondo.
Yep, he kind of
like
like
him.
Taggart.
Still like him.
Like it's like it's the fucking the Flash is in the same circle of movies that Beverly Hills Cop 3 is in. Like it's Batman 3. Batman 3 would have been Beverly Hills Cop 3. So I guess we got what we wanted. Goddamn it, we got Beverly Hills Cop 3. Maybe Eddie Murphy will be in the next Justice League movie. Shit, I don't know.
He could be Cyborg.
Oh my god.
You see this shit on my arm? I'm gonna fucking kill you with it.
You see this shit? It costs $5,000. Read my lips. $5,000.
Oh.
So you heard our numbers earlier. Dion gives it a 6 out of 10, right?
Yes, sir.
I give it a 6 out of 10. It's there. It's not great. It's the end of the Snyderverse. Wait, it's not the end of the Snyderverse because we still got Aquaman to live through.
Yep.
But I feel like Aquaman might be the soft reboot, or at least
Yes, I think it's gonna. I think they whatever they were gonna do in Flashpoint, they made changes. They didn't make the changes we all wanted because she poops in people's beds and shit. But Aquaman is gonna be good enough to where it's like, hey, if we keep this shit, he can stay in it. And especially with the amount of time that post credit scene was, where he's saying like, I get, he's drunk and shit, but he's like, so there were multiple people in the timeline. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for dumbing it down. Like it's just him, which is really it's him just being what you think Jason Momoa is. He's not even being Aquaman. Like it's just him being drunk Jason Momoa, and it's like listen, if shit gets wild enough where Aquaman is a different movie than the first Aquaman, it's gonna be because of that. Because he's not even wearing green and shit. He's got a scarf on. He dresses like Jason Momoa, and I'm like, you're gonna just do a whole new thing without y'all really changed. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm kind of glad that Ezra Miller blew all this shit up because this movie ain't gonna cut it.
Nope. I saw this picture on this meme. Not even a meme. It was like a news report. They're like, The Flash will get a sequel if it makes enough money. It's like, wow, what a statement to make.
That's a statement to make, isn't it, brother?
Well, I mean, a lot of studios have made that statement.
Listen,
and, and like some of them have still made sequels and things like that. So
yeah, right. Like, and especially when you said that Justice League only made 600-something million.
657.
Yeah, I can see. I don't know if I'd say it's going to be that low, but I can see it only making 8. I can see it being enough of a success where, when asked about it, these people say, "Well, it did make $800-900 million, blah 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 blah." But that especially all of the marketing that we've seen for it so far, they're hoping to scrape pennies on this shit and move on. I can see this being where this is the last that we see of Ezra Miller before they trot off into the sunset to kidnap somebody else's fucking kids. And, because, again, like I was saying to Hillary and Diane when we were going to see this motherfucker, no one cares as long as you're winning. And that's not just in the film industry. That's in sports. That's in, business. We all see that shit. As long as you're getting W's, no one cares. No one cared that Aaron Rodgers was weird. And then the motherfucker didn't make the playoffs, and he's getting in fucking isolation tanks, cabins for 4 days. Motherfucker can only go 2 days and shit. Everyone's like, you're kind of fucking weird, man. Nobody saw that while he was fucking getting in the playoffs every goddamn year. And they needed this movie to get in the playoffs. to compete with Marvel, you know, to put up with the fact that like, hey, we're gonna release this movie with this weird dude that's kidnapping people to his fucking shit in Vermont. We're gonna stick with him, and they needed this shit to do well. Like they needed one of those barely $1 billion performances, and they didn't get it.
Nope. And one thing we didn't address, the Flash still does that goofy ass run.
That flail.
Yeah, he does that. Like,
Oh
and there's
my
a scene
God.
where he loses his powers and he runs like that without the Speed Force, and he's just like, "Bleh," looks like a fucking fish. Like,
It's pretty.
That guy was a bad choice.
Yeah, he was.
I still agree with you guys. Like, well, they should have got the guy from the TV show. You know, they should have got him.
That would have been. Listen, it's funny, you know, especially when you know people kind of give podcasts shit that talk about 80s culture, pop culture, whatever. You know,
Poppycock?
time, Pocketcock. You know, when we talk about past Pocketcocks, you know, there were things that worked, right? And you know, you hear stories about studios that took a chance on something and it pays off. You know, that's the type of shit that they need to happen nowadays because you can tell that they've gotten so far from making decisions like that. You know, your star starts acting wild. You just say, fuck it. Let's get the guy from the TV show and the fans will be happy. You know, maybe we can take advantage of some of these super nerds and get them to come see the movie. You know, that's the type of shit that they would have made in the 80s. They would have made that decision in the 90s. You know, it's just, you don't have that anymore. And this movie is a product of this new time we live in where they don't make that decision. They play it safe. They have the property. They own the property. They even base these by the number movies on certain properties, and they just miss the mark. And that's what Flash is. They just miss the fucking mark.
Missed it by that much.
Yep. Just a bit outside.
Overall, I guess, where would you rank this in the DCEU?
Probably smack dab in the middle. Like, this is probably... This is below Man of Steel. You know, as much as I dislike Man of Steel, where there were moments and there were Henry Cavill made you like Man of Steel just enough to want to see that motherfucker be Superman again. This one has that, but the story is just a bit dumber. You know, and again, the people on Twitter, because some of you motherfuckers show up out of nowhere when you bring up Man of Steel. Well, but he shouldn't have killed General Zod. Get over it, bitch. That's one reason why Zack Snyder sucks. That's why his movies fucking sucked. That's why when they gave him another $100 million for the Zack Snyder cut, and it still sucked. Decisions like that tank this side of the franchise. The Flash is the very last remnant where they tried to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And you had Michael Keaton, you had George Clooney, you know, you had Supergirl was pretty good, but it just still reminded us of why you keep fucking up.
Yeah. Now, to answer my own question, I have to pull up the list of the DCEU films because I forgot what's involved, what's included, what's not included. I will put this movie... I liked it less than Wonder Woman and Aquaman and both Shazams, but I would put it above the Snyder Cut, Black Adam, Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey, the other Suicide Squad. Like, it's better than Batman versus Superman, but that's not a compliment.
That is, you know, I agree with Jeff. That's probably the perfect way to put that for me. You know, even though, and I would say that Man of Steel is just above that. You know, it's the remnants of this fucking almost decade of just okay DC films. It's definitely better than the shitty ones, but not as good as the ones that were good. The few that were good.
You're not going to be thinking about this movie for a week after you watch it.
Yeah. Like, you'll be like, oh, shit, yeah, I did go and see that back in June. Yeah, I did see that. It wasn't that good, but it was pretty good. And your friend will be like, oh, that's pretty crazy. You'll be like, I wouldn't watch it. But it was like I'll throw it on the background, you know.
It is what it is. It's a background movie. It's one of those movies like the more I watch it, or sorry, the further I get away from it, Spider-Man No Way Home is just a third act movie. Like, folks, if you're gonna watch this movie, just watch the Michael Keaton Bat stuff. It's the best part of the movie.
Or if you wanna, if you're having a weekend where you're watching the Michael Keaton Batmans, watch this one too. Like, if watch 89, then you'll watch Returns and you'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good. I wish I had more Michael Keaton. And then you can watch this and you can be like, okay, I got more Michael Keaton. It still wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, that's when I would watch it again.
If I'd ever watch it again.
I would watch it again. I liked it enough. I'd watch Justice League again. I'd watch.
Dude, it's gonna be on Max in 6 months, anyways. You know
Listen,
how it
is. And it is. I'm so excited to see what happens when this movie doesn't do that well. But yeah, it's gonna be on Max. HBO Max.
Yeah,
Max
we'll find out Monday what happens with the numbers. So.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the holiday weekend, they were like, "Fuck it, let's fucking put the Flash." Juneteenth, all the black folk back go see this.
Are there even black people? Oh, there's just Iris West. She's the only black person in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'd rather go watch the Blackening. All right.
Oh Lord. All of us can die first. I was like, God damn, you can come with it.
Listen. I've seen the trailer a couple times, and I'm just like, this actually looks funny. I'm gonna go check it out.
I liked that movie better when it was called Scary Movie 23 years ago.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Or even Haunted House 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I see white people all the time. That was like the best commercial ever. My friend and I used to quote that at each other.
Yep.
Folks, do not tune out yet. We have a really fun segment about unmade Batman movies. One features a kaiju. I didn't realize they were going to make this movie back in the 60s, but yeah, it's that crazy. Darian217, thank you very much for your super chat. He says, my brother left to go meet up with his friends to see the Flash movie. He said he needed to see the train wreck with his own two eyes. Well, he definitely saw that train wreck. You also asked for a Joe Rogan moose, please. Sure, we'll press that for you. Dion, is Trainwreck an apt title for this film?
No, it's not a train wreck. It's not a train wreck.
Well,
I would say it's a serious fender bender.
What do you call this?
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, that car's windshield is fucked for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Want to enter the Discord, but I don't want to pay 20, says Aramis Rodriguez. We don't really have a Discord yet. We're still setting up that kind of stuff, Aramis, but thank you very much. But there are all kinds of tiers for the WCBS membership program if you'd like to join. People like Sejorjan, Enrique, Adama, and many, many, many more support the channel all the time. We greatly appreciate you guys. Sejorjan says, best honker's death? Rika Shimamura from Gantz. Buzz, your girlfriend, Wolf, and Jamram buttons, please. Sure, we'll press you those buttons right now. I'm glad everybody likes the new Buzz Your Girlfriend button. That was just a favorite from the little Captain Marvel video. But first, here's this one.
Jamram!
And then, everyone's new favorite. If you like Home Alone, folks, you'll love this one.
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
By the way, the picture you see of the girl in that picture is actually not a girl. It's a guy.
Yeah, it's the dude that played Buzz.
Yeah.
In makeup or whatever.
Yep.
Because they thought it was too mean to put a girl in that scene.
Yep. That's why.
How conscious was John Hughes? I couldn't imagine John Hughes trying to do music. It wouldn't sound very good. Or John Williams trying to direct. It wouldn't be very good. But hey, I'm glad we don't live in the multiverse of that bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, tonight we should come up with some other multiverse things. So it's like there's the Eric Stoltz Back to the Future. I guess we could, in the multiverse that they go to, it could be the universe where Sam Neill from Jurassic Park plays James Bond. because he screen tested for
okay.
the role.
Okay, no, that would. I don't know.
Got any other things like that? Like the Ghostbusters features Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Belushi, and Chevy Chase instead.
No, I'm in the universe where Axel Foley's played by Black Noir from The Boys.
I thought you were going to say where the universe where Beverly Hills Cop stars Sylvester Stallone as Axel Cobretti.
Axel Cobretti?
Yep.
Hey. That's it.
Dude, the violence of that movie would have been upped by a factor of 10 for sure. If it was
It'd be like RoboCop levels violence. Like,
yeah,
if you thought Victor Maitland's death was bloody in Beverly Hills Cop, Stallone would piss on his corpse afterwards.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, it'd be it'd be incredibly bloody.
Enrique Vasquez, thank you for your super chat. He says, "You were right, Jeff, about Indy. Tell your viewers you were right." Also, VR made a video where Steven Spielberg didn't mention Kathleen Kennedy and the previews. Random button. Oh, I'll press that for you in just a second. Yeah, folks, we've been talking about the Indiana Jones script, and I was right. So check out our video on that. It's accurate. The one we made about a month ago that features the plot leak, the entire plot leak. That was it. So
that's
if you
the
didn't
movie?
like that, that's the movie.
Oh, dear God.
Yep.
Because I remember hearing that, and I was listening, and you said it was a rumor, and this, that, and the other, and I was just like, oh, it can't be this bad. And if it's that bad, I'm just like, oh, what did I agree to say I'm going to go watch this fucking movie?
Well, you did, and you will in 2 weeks, folks. Join us for our Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disappointment review here on World Class Bullshitters.
My God.
But I did see that video, Enrique, about the Kathleen Kennedy snub. For context to everybody out there, last night at the Indiana Jones premiere, Spielberg, Lucas, Kennedy, Marshall, and James Mangold were on stage, and Spielberg was given a speech talking about the most integral people to Indiana Jones. He goes, "First off, I want to say thank you to George Lucas for writing it. Thirdly, I want to say thank you to Harrison Ford for being it. And then finally, I want to give a very special thank you to," and Kathleen Kennedy leans in like she's about to get her moment in the sun, and he goes, "John Williams!" And everybody except Kathleen Kennedy applauses. So,
I mean, they've been kind of like publicly snubbing her for a while now,
and rightly so.
But for some reason, she's like that stuck piece of shit, or on the bottom of your shoe. You just can't fucking get it off. Like you just can't wash it off and leave it. It's just there all the time.
No, you can't get rid of it. It's like you're supposed to just rub it in the grass and hope that the rest sticks to the grass, but it won't.
I don't know, man.
And here is your random button.
You had enough yet?
No.
That's another one.
So?
You just say the word, I'll keep going.
Go.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Mo.
Your mother was a...
Ho.
He was a famous clown.
Bobo.
Mitch, cut it out.
That kid should have played the Flash.
Seriously.
Mitch. Yeah, he's got that look. Yeah, that would work too.
Adama, thank you. Also, that kid that screams "Mitch, cut it out" kind of looks like Alice from the Brady Bunch to me, but that's just me. Adama, thank you very much for your very generous super chat. He says, "Hail, guys, I caught an afternoon showing of The Flash. I liked some parts and disliked others. One thing I liked was Affleck's Batman finally got a blue and gray suit. His opening chase was cool. Off the cycle. I did like the costume. What did you think, Dion?"
I liked finally having the blue cowl and the blue cape, but the rest of it looked like shit.
I would have preferred if they took his Batman versus Superman costume and just replaced the black with blue.
Exactly.
Kept the big bat on the chest.
Yeah, it just all that the certain pieces. It just did not. It looked like a gigantic toy.
Are you not rushing out to buy the toys for this movie? Because I'm not.
Oh, I can't wait to not buy it.
I indulged and bought the Batmobile, the '89 Batmobile, but that's because it's the Michael Keaton Batmobile, not because it's from this movie.
Absolutely, I would never blame you for that, not ever.
Good, I hope not, because it's just not that kind of party. But the motorcycle looks like a giant fudge-sickle, just like Rey's in The Force Awakens.
Oh God.
Darian217, I did this for you. He says, "Can you put up a sign saying spoilers on the screen when you get to spoiler territory in case anyone wants to see it without spoilers, then take the sign down when you move off spoilers and any other topics?" Well, I made this especially since when your super chat rolled in. So, folks, if you avoided spoilers, thanks to Darian217. So, thank you, Darian. I appreciate all you do, man. Dr. Coffinail says, I heard George Reeves' Superman was in a black and white. Only the first 2 seasons of 6 Adventures of Superman were in black and white. What the hell? I mean, I thought that was pretty dumb, too, honestly, that it was all black and white universe. But I guess they were trying to show the differences. Dion, how would you have felt if they had a Kevin Conroy animated universe?
I'd have liked it. I probably would have cheesed a bit for it.
Yeah, that would have been cool. If that would have happened.
He's vengeance. He's the knight. He is the best Batman.
Yeah, I actually started watching the cartoon again yesterday.
Well, you're watching a good show.
Yeah, and it's weird to see like the animation from the first season's a little like wonky, but I still like it. His interaction with Catwoman is very just like he it's very very interesting. But no, it's I remember it now. It's such a good show, man. Especially that beginning intro. God, that brings back memories.
It's wonderful. Have you watched The Mask of the Phantasm yet?
No, I watched it once when that came out decades ago. I didn't understand it, but also I was really younger, so yeah, I need to go back and watch it again and actually like sit there and like absorb it.
Yeah, check that out and then look at Batman Begins because you get two really good Batman origin stories. They're very different, but they deal with very similar issues.
Mm-hmm.
Adama says, to be honest, and by the way, Adama, thank you for your very, very generous super chat. He says, to be honest, Dion, you said that DC should have got darker with the movie, but they tried it before you guys crapped on it. Respectfully, why not play it safe now? You like Marvel, so that's what you get. Again, no hate. Of course we didn't think there's any hate there. Don't worry. I wish that the moments that I don't know if I wanted darker, but I wish that the heavier moments would have felt more realistic. Because even in Marvel movies, when they have like emotional moments, some of the better ones actually feel real. Like in Civil War, when they're fighting in the missile silo in Siberia, and Captain America's like, blah blah blah, Tony, and Tony's like, did you know? And he's like, he was my friend, so was I. That to me is like a heavier moment that I wish the Flash would carry.
Yeah, I feel like that movie has a darker tone than a darker cinematic look. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that one is because you're dealing with one of your best friends, the Sokovia Accords, half and half are on, each side. Plus finding out that this robot armed guy is your friend, but also has been brainwashed and is trying to get over it and killed Stark's parents and stuff, and like it's very confusing, but they did a good job of like ironing it out, and then like there's the fight at the end and stuff, and like it was like you're dealing with this whole thing, and it's like that's dark tonally as opposed to being dark cinematically.
Well, who was it that said that? Who was it? Very well said. Who was it that said that? Adama. So to directly answer your statement, we're talking about two different kinds of dark. The type of dark that you're referencing that I'm giving them crap for by your terms was the Zack Snyder dark. The dark that I'm referencing, the dark that Nick is referencing, the dark that Jeff is referencing and Kendo that we're referencing we're talking specifically rated R dark. There's a very vast difference between Zack Snyder, I'm Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with darker tones, but I'm PG-13, than there is rated R, Die Hard, Blood Squib, people get killed. Not real world in terms of Chris Nolan, but dark in that people get shot in this fucking movie. That's the dark I'm referencing. So make no motherfucking mistake about it. I'm not flip-flopping. Zack Snyder sucks because his dark was, you have heard of the band Good Charlotte, and it's PG-13. That's the dark that sucks. That's a lot darker than what he did for Watchmen, which was, hey, I'm the comedian. I tried to grape this other hero, and then she had my kid, blah, 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 blah. That dude changed to make money. His dark is fake dark. He's the poser dark. I mean Last Boy Scout type of dark with superheroes that The Boys is doing, where it's like people getting ray gunned by a psychotic Superman. That's what I mean for adults dark, not PG-13 on TV. It's Superman. He breaks people's necks, but it's PG-13 dark. That's what I mean.
Well said, Dion.
Thank you.
Xavier to God says, Jeff, it's important to spell Spider-Man and X-Men with the hyphen because it's called Spider-Man fans, because these so-called Spider-Man fans who are idiots on Instagram doesn't say, or say it doesn't. Well, here's the thing. It does matter. Go back and watch my Spider-Man video I made like in 2017. In the comic book, he will actually say, and don't forget the hyphen in my name or else you're spelling it wrong. There are tons of issues where Spider-Man says to whatever character he's talking to, don't forget the hyphen in my name. So if you actually, on my phone, on my predictive text, Spider-Man is spelt Spider-Man with capitals S and M because I was like, I just refuse to have it spelled wrong. I'm with you, man. There are two types of Spider fans out there. The people that like this new Spider-Verse shit because it's new and they only know Spider-Man from the MCU, the PS4 game, and a couple other newer interpretations. Then there are the long-term fans that have read comic books, that have seen most of the movies, that have read or watched other cartoons, and have played more than just the PS4 game. They're really just younger kids that think they know their shit. It's like everyone that posts this meme, Spider-Man fans have been eating so good since 2017. It's like, actually, it was a better time to be a Spider fan in the early 2000s because you had great movies. The Spider-Man 2 video game was a bigger milestone for video games than Spider-Man PS4. I'm not saying it's a better game, but back then it was considered like a big deal. So that was a huge game back then. Then, on top of that, you had multiple good Spider-Man cartoons, and the shit kicker is the comic books didn't suck dick back then. Nowadays, they're unreadable. But back then, they were still fun to read. So, yeah, Xavier to God, I always do the hyphen. Believe me. If I have S-M in my notes, it means I'm talking about Spider-Man. Could I keep in the pre-Dion part of the stream? Well, it'll be here on YouTube. I'm not going to edit this at all. But for the stream over on Podbean and everything, we've noticed that people want us to get to actually, in general, people just want us to get to the topics right away. And so we want to give people what they want because this is the summer of bullshit. We keep on growing. And again, we're in the 186 mark now, 186,000. Last week was 185. So welcome all the new people. And thank you for everybody that's been joining us each and every week on all these live streams. Xavier God says, damn, all I wanted to know is if what Bale was in the film. Nope, no Christian Bale Batman.
Oh, that fucking blows.
It would have been better to see him.
Yeah.
Okay, I think thematically the movie would have worked better if the Flash ran into Christian Bale Batman over Michael Keaton Batman, but Michael Keaton Batman's cooler, better, and would sell more tickets. But, Dion, how would you feel about this movie if it was Christian Bale replacing Michael Keaton?
That's tough. I think I would like it. I don't know if I like it that much. I think that's where one of the nostalgia barriers probably gets me pretty good. But man, it would be nice to see the other Batman that was hugely successful too. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
I really like Batman Begins. Dark Knight is where I just I don't lose interest in the movie. It's very good. No, I'm not here to rip on it, but it's not my favorite one whatsoever. So, I like Batman Begins Batman a lot. But here's a fun question from TLJ Screwjob. Best honkers, Lady in Jacuzzi and Halloween 2. We'll talk about some horror movie honkers.
Oh, man. Let's see. What is it? Friday the 13th, Part 5. Her last name is Voorhees, actually, in real life. She had a nice pair. She had a nice pair.
I wonder if there's a Google search.
I'm sure there is.
Best horror movie boobs. Dude, you know what pops up when I say that?
There's probably a podcast that's dedicated to that.
There will be. You want to do it?
Sure, let's do it.
Well, Nick,
we'll call it tits for tat.
we review every set of boobs in movies ever.
There we go. It's like a 20-30 minute thing. It's like, oh, here's a time code in it. Here are the various versions of the movie: VHS, Blu-ray, 4K. You know.
Yeah, watch Life Force at the 48-minute marker for a nice bush shot.
Yeah, there you go.
But Nick, when you type in best horror movie boobs, the first thing that pops up is the listing for Return of the Living Dead.
That's yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean,
But I mean, it's not even like listing horror movie boobs. It's like I searched for the movie. It popped up with all of its information. I'm like, what a weird Google search to get this movie.
That is very fucking weird.
But there is a website. Joe Blow has the top 10 boobs in horror movies. They have
No. Don't read it because we can make it. We'll make it into a thing. We'll get into a thing.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Our girl's number 3 though. She's on there, bro.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But let's make it into like an October thing, okay?
Deal. I'm looking
save
at the pictures
Save
now.
the link, post it in the chat, whatever. But we'll save it and do it later.
All right. Monstrous Memories, breasts and horror. What the fuck?
I love it.
Xavier to God asks, does it matter if the honkers are fake to you guys? I mean, not in a movie. Who
No.
cares? We don't get to touch them from a movie.
Yeah. Even if I did get to touch them, I wouldn't care if they were fake or not. I mean, they're like the basketball tits we saw at Horror Hound that one year.
Oh my God, I forgot about those.
Then that might be a problem. But oh, dude, speaking of Horror Hound, I saw on Facebook Tom Holland's gonna be there, not Spider-Man, the director.
You mean the good Tom Holland?
The good Tom Holland.
I'm actually going to ask him the question of what do you think, or how has your life changed since that kid that plays Spider-Man shares the same name as you?
Oh God, yeah. If we can get an interview with him, that'd be great. Just like 10 minutes, just talk to him, answer some questions.
All we got to do is ask. Everybody else says yes.
Yeah. Well, I remember asking at Horror Hound with Dion and Kendo. We asked, I think Ted Raimi, and he was like,
"Oh, he's just a dick, though."
His answer
I wouldn't
was very...
say that, but it was very cool. He was like, I gotta know who I'm on, whose podcast I'm on. And I was like, I get it, but yeah, I wouldn't say dick. He was just careful.
Well, let me rephrase it. Anybody I asked says yes.
Well, you're also very menacing and 6'5", Jeff. So I mean, what are they gonna? What they're afraid to say no.
That's my strong point, man. That's my secret. I'm always tall.
Okay.
If I gotta shake Ted Raimi into saying yes, actually I don't want to touch him. He looked kind of weird in person, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
but
no. When he gives a response, yeah, I mean, it's like the most Hollywood response ever. It's like I get it, but like, we're not gonna ask you any like political questions. We just want to ask you about movies you've been in. Like, it's not.
You know what my number one question would have been, right?
What?
Can we interview Sam Raimi instead? It's like, look.
Oh my God.
There are good actors, and then there are famous families, but there are tiers to the family. It's like there's Ivan Raimi, and then Ted Raimi, and then at the top is Sam Raimi. And you want to talk to Sam Raimi. And see, Dion, you and I have an in because we went to Michigan State. We'd be like, could 2 Michigan State alums interview you? So, go green, go white, go all the way.
He probably still say no.
The thing is, I don't really have anything to say to Sam Raimi. Like, anything I need to know about his Spider-Man movies is kind of out there. I don't care about the Unmade Spider-Man 4. I have nothing to say to him about Doctor Strange either.
Yeah, I mean, I'd use the MSU thing. I'd be like, hey, man, what was it like making Spider-Man 3? Like, man to man, let's have a scotch and tell me how much that hurt, because that kind of sucked.
Scotch and a cigar, and let's have a talk, sir.
Exactly. Let's just talk to me as Sam. You ain't Sam Raimi, you're Sam.
Well, speaking of talking, hey Kendo, what's up?
Hello, guys. I am here. Despite my car's Mulvaney's best-ish opportunities to try to sabotage me and strand me in the Tonto National Forest, I am here.
Well, welcome,
Gotta
buddy.
be careful of those skinwalkers, man.
I don't think those are out there. Those are the Apaches, not the Navajos.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I get my cryptids messed up sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As do I.
But yes, I'm here, and I'm glad you brought up Go Green and Grow White, because I had to have a conversation earlier today when we were at our third outlet mall, this little trip that we went on, that yes, that is a nice shirt. However, I refuse to wear burnt orange. And I've had to explain to her why I refuse to wear that color, kind of like why I won't wear sky blue and things like that. And I was like, you know what? Let me get Dion on the phone and ask him if he would wear navy blue and gold. And then he'll explain it to you maybe in a way I can't.
You can bet your ass. There's no way in hell I would wear that.
Yes. But she's like, this Puma shirt is so nice. It's this color orange. I'm like, that's burnt orange and white. You want me to get my ass kicked if I ever have to show up on campus? No. I cannot wear that. Yes, I'm new to this school, but that's still a no-no. I will get beat up. That's if I'll kick my own ass first. One's down.
Yeah, dog meat ass.
I did get some cool shit in the mail while I was gone, though. My Alf action figure arrived, so I'm happy about that. And you know that brand of Lego that's not Lego? It's called Kobe. Kobe! They had a Top Gun series where you could get the F-14 Tomcat with Maverick and Goose, the F-18 from Maverick, Top Gun Maverick with Maverick in it, and his P-51. So I got all three of those, and I am loving every second of it. I cannot wait to have to try to put these together. I'm sure I'll get a chance to do that sometime in the next 5 years.
Well, I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah, I'm more excited that somebody didn't steal them off my porch earlier today, so that makes me even happier. So we got that going for us. So yes, I'm happy to be here. I'm sure the Flash sucked. I assumed it probably would.
It wasn't that bad. It was a 6 out of 10 for both Dion and I.
How many times did Barry Badgernath try to touch kids?
All the opening is him saving a bunch of babies. So that was kind of weird.
Hey man,
steal?
Kendo. If you know, if you can't afford it, you can't have a ZJ if you can't afford it.
Well, that's
if
true.
you have to ask, man, you can't afford it, bro.
Yeah, that is true. That's 100% true. So, but yeah, we had a nice little trip.
Now, I'm glad you're here, Kendo, because we're going to be talking about some unmade Batman movies in a minute. But first, one of our friends, Bata SSL, says, I thought The Flash was great. I enjoyed the cameos. Also, I wish there was a Friday the 13th movie ranking based on boobs. Well,
I got a job to do. Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, we wear T-shirts and shorts. You know what, Nick? When it comes time for that, let me know. I'll start preparing too. I'll prepare my list, and we'll have Kendo tally up the thing and put it in the spreadsheet like he does, and we'll come up with a definitive Friday the 13th boobs list.
I love it.
Spoiler alert, I'm putting the girl from part 2 very high.
Let's have a heated debate on tits, Jeff.
Yes. That section of the show will be brought to you by Tits and Art, so there we go.
There you go. You're welcome.
We're all very thankful for those movies. But, Bata SSL, I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, man. It's all about having a good experience in these things. It doesn't matter if you all agree with us. We don't want to sit and bitch and yell into an echo chamber. We want to have good discussions about pop culture and have fun at the end of the day. So that's what's up. And one more before we get into our segment about the unmade Bat films. Xavier to God says, there's a theory that George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, so 10 years ago, he buys it back for cheaper, just like the creator of PR sold it to Disney, or Power Rangers, for $5 billion and got it back for $60 million. It's a lot of this is just, wish fulfillment. A lot of these rumors, none of these rumors ever come true. We talk about them forever. Some people talk about them like they're going to happen, and they keep trying to find explanations for them. And look, when George Lucas buys back Star Wars, then I'll believe it. But until then, it's just wishful thinking. There's nothing to do with it anyway. He's not going to buy it back and unmake the sequel trilogy. Like, remember we were told the sequel trilogy was getting unmade for so many years, and now they're moving forward with it, literally. There's another movie coming out. Now, if that gets made, that's a different story, since Lucasfilm has announced 16 Star Wars movies that never got made in the first place. But overall, I understand people really want that to be true, and really want, George Lucas back in the director's chair or this or that, but is society actually going to support another Star Wars movie? Are they going to go back to the theater and see these things? Because the last 3 sucked, and people just aren't into Star Wars as much as they used to be. Like your average everyday audience isn't going to go, oh well, George Lucas is back, so I kind of forgive the last ones.
I tell you what, if George Lucas buys back Lucasfilm, I will give everybody listening $25.
Oh God.
So,
that shit ain't happening. It's
find me wherever you're at. You're like, hey, Kendo, I was listening to episode, whatever fucking episode number we're on.
361.
361. And George Lucas bought back Lucasfilm. Haha, fucker, where's my $25? And I will give you $25. Or I'll say, wait right here. I need to go to that Wells Fargo ATM.
Yeah, and Kendo's a man of his word. He'll do it.
Yeah.
But that's how much he's willing to stake on that this is not going to fucking happen.
Yeah, I would offer more money, but I don't have a whole lot of extra money. I've got a kid and a wife that likes outlet mall shopping.
You said you went to 3 outlet malls? Whew.
Dude, like, we got down there on Monday. It was nice. It was a nice, easy, fun travel down. We went to Jollibee because, of course, we had to go there first. And we, got our bee on and then checked into the hotel, and then we just kind of relaxed. I don't even remember if we did anything Monday. Oh, they went swimming in the pool, and I went and got In-N-Out Burger and worked on some shit for grad school. And then, Tuesday we went outlet shopping, and then we went to the Diamondbacks game and watched them get pecker slapped by the Phillies. And then, yesterday we went shopping again. And then today, on our way out of town, we had to go shopping again. And then we went to Jollibee again. And then I had In-N-Out Burger instead. And then we drove home, and it took 7 hours instead of 5.
I love when shit takes 2 extra hours.
Yeah, I love driving 63 on the highway and having people go past me looking at me all fucked up. It's like, any other time I would just be like, we're going to find out if this Mulvaney can handle anything. I'm going to fucking put the pedal down, and we're just going to keep going because I think this might be a bad sensor. And then – but now I got a kid in the car, and I'm like, my main objective is to get this little guy home safe. So we're going to do what we have to do to make sure he gets all the way there. And after he stopped screaming after about hour 4, it wasn't so bad.
Well, it's over. It's done with. You're safe. You're in the company of friends and listeners who are also our friends. And,
who I will give $25 each to if George Lucas buys back Lucasfilm.
I would shit my pants if tomorrow we get an announcement George Lucas to buy back Lucasfilm. Kendo's like, fuck. Delete the episode.
Like, Jeff, take that shit down. Take that shit down.
It's like, I didn't tell you to make the bet, bro.
Well, here's what I'll do is I'll write out IOUs. I'll be like, cash this in on January 1st, 2032.
2030.
It'll be like a savings bond. Yeah. It'll be,
without any interest.
Yeah, the government shells those things out all the time, and they every day they're worth less and less. But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, folks, there are some unmade Batman movies out there, and I would have loved to have seen some of these. And so tonight we're going to talk about these unmade Batman films. There's a handful of them. We're going to give you the 10 that were not made, and number 10 is probably the one I'm the most excited for, guys. Batman versus Godzilla.
All right.
The Godzilla series received a much-needed reboot boost in 1962 when it crossed over with American-owned character King Kong. The film was a success, which prompted King Kong. That's my new favorite movie, King Kong. It's the story of Harambe and why he really got shot.
Oh, God.
Dude, there is a highway in Arizona that's one of those adopt a highway things. It's, I think, Ellison Road or something like that. It's right after you get off 202. If anybody's from Arizona, they know what I'm talking about. And you start heading north towards Tonto National Forest, and there is a stretch of that's today. No shit, I'm driving by, and it says adopted by in memory of Harambe. I was like, fuck, I want to turn around and go take a picture of that. And then I'm like, I'm not going to, though. Sorry for interrupting. I just thought that was timely.
It is. It always is for Harambe. But Godzilla writer Shinichi Sikazawa wanted to write a very successful film with Godzilla. He decided to cross over with another American icon, and he turned to Gotham City. Cashing in on the success of the Adam West-led Batman series, I can't even say this name. Shinichi, that's his damn name, wanted to pit the Caped Crusader against Godzilla. What do you think Adam West Batman versus Godzilla would have been like?
It would have been, dude. There would have been
incredible.
There would have been Godzilla repellent, 100%.
He would have, he would be flying around in his whatever they had back then. That was it, the Batcopter back then.
Yeah,
and they would have been like they'd had like those little tanks on the side. They would just be douching Godzilla with Godzilla repellent.
Yeah,
it would be incredible.
Yeah, or they might go atomic age and just nuke him or something like that, and be like, oh,
I don't think they would do that.
The Bat Nuke,
the Bat Nuke,
the Book,
the Book, or he'd find some sort of substance to make him smaller and like less dangerous or something like that. So he wouldn't kill him or something.
Yeah, of course. Before then, they would have that little conversation they always had in like the Batcave. Okay, Robin, what? Godzilla is fueled by atomic energy. What is the opposite of atomic energy? And then Robin would go, "Holy, fucking bombs over Baghdad, Batman." And then, he would have whatever the opposite of atomic energy is, which I can't think of what the hell that is.
Why is Robin under 3,000? What happened?
Because I was trying to think of something. Okay, fine. He could have said, "Holy Hiroshima, Batman."
There you go.
Would that have been better?
Sure.
I don't know. I would like the idea of Robin quoting a song from the early 2000s in 1967.
I mean, like, are you hating on Outkast? Because I mean, that's fine if that's your bag, but whatever.
No. I like the anachronism of a character in the 60s quoting a rap song from the early 2000s.
I mean, that's Outkast what I'm all about.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fine. That's entirely fine.
Well, number 9 on this list is Ivan Reitman's The Batman. So Tim Burton's Batman reinvented the character in 1989, but there was another Batman film announced in 1980. The film would have been penned by the writer of Richard Donner's Superman films and would have had a similar feel. Ivan Reitman was set to direct, and of all people, Bill Murray was to play the titular hero. What do you guys think about a Bill Murray Batman? Yeah, I know, me too.
A Bill Murray, but no, I could see that happening a little bit. It would. The only problem is I've always heard whenever Bill Murray is like doing a movie, they have to keep multiple cameras on him and him like wired with a mic all the time because like he doesn't go with the script. He does his own thing. So it would be interesting to see that. I don't know. But the thing isn't who would be the Joker?
Well, I can tell you right now. First
Dan Aykroyd.
Eddie Murphy was tapped to play Robin.
Oh, okay.
And the craziest choice was David Bowie would have played the Joker, according to Bill Murray.
That movie would have been fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
Bill Murray as Bruce Wayne, Eddie Murphy as Robin. Wow.
Now, number 8 on this list is a Batman Beyond film. So, Paul Dini, who wrote the show, was hired to pen the script. The idea was scrapped before the script could be written, however. Today, the series is finally remembered. So, back in the day, they wanted to do a live-action Batman Beyond film. So, that's a missed opportunity right there.
Like around what time?
The 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it would have looked like a lot of those straight to DVD sci-fi movies, though. That's the unfortunate thing. I mean, once again, if it was penned by the guy and done by him and everything like that, it would have been fine story wise.
There's another one. This is quite interesting because Nightwing would have gotten his own movie. Before Batman and Robin killed the superhero movies for a while, several sequels and spin-offs were considered. Most notably was a Dick Grayson-centered spin-off that would have focused on him becoming his own hero, Nightwing. Chris O'Donnell was set to reprise the role and would have led directly into the 5th Batman movie. So, Batman and Robin robbed us of so much. So much.
I don't know. Chris O'Donnell's very meh. Even back then, he was pretty meh. Nightwing would have been. I don't know. Nightwing would have been okay with him in it. I think it would have bombed though with him just being the singular character. It would have not done well.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in that character. Sorry,
I wouldn't have watched it. Not interested. Chris O'Donnell back then, I wasn't interested in him. I'm less interested in him now. 25 years later.
Well, here's another film that never got released. It's called Batman Unchained. Before Batman and Robin was even released, a 5th Batman film was greenlit by Warner Brothers. Joel Schumacher's unmade Batman movie was named Batman Unchained. It was supposed to take place in a darker toned universe than the previous two, and would feature Scarecrow as the main baddie. Batman would be trapped in Arkham Asylum as Scarecrow mentally torments him. The big kicker was the villains from every previous film, including Jack Nicholson's Joker, would reprise their roles in a nightmare sequence.
So Batman Arkham Asylum?
Yes. So Arkham Asylum kind of copied this shit.
That sounds awesome. I would totally fucking watch that. That sounds cool shit.
Well, thanks, Batman and Robin. You dicked us out of that, too. Number 5 on this list is Batman Year One. Now, I've heard about this one before, but this was supposed to be directed and written by Darren Aronofsky. Frank Miller was going to help write the script as well, and the biggest thing about the film that would change Batman's origin is after his parents' death, Bruce would lose his massive fortune, meaning he couldn't rely on his wealth to become Batman. So, budget Batman, if you will.
No, not Darren Aronofsky.
That's not going to work. No,
not Darren. Especially not Darren Aronofsky, man. I'm sorry. That guy masturbated $40 million away. I'm not gonna give him. I would never give him fucking Batman.
Mother.
Yeah, not interested.
Yeah.
See,
exactly.
Batman only works because he has all that fucking money. If he's broke, what's the point? He's a handyman.
Chris R would be like, "Where's the fucking money, Batman?" That's how I'd feel about the whole thing. So there's a Batman versus Superman movie that was supposed to be made many years ago, but sadly never got made. But don't worry, folks, we got the great one in 2016, right?
Jeez.
Next up was the unmade Tim Burton Batman, Batman 3. After Batman Returns caused controversy due to its dark tones, Warner Brothers looked to soften the tone for the third installment. This led to Batman Forever, and Tim Burton was reduced to the producer role. Before he was replaced, he had the idea for a third movie that would see Michael Keaton return. The main villain would be Harvey Dent, who finally made his transition into Two-Face, and he would be played by Billy D. Williams. Marlon Wayans was to debut as Robin, and was supposed to play in the previous two films before he was cut. The film was changed, and the final product is barely recognizable, which is why Michael Keaton left before shooting.
That would have been pretty cool to see. Billy D. Williams as Two-Face, that would have been fucking awesome. That would be great.
Not sold on Marlon Wayans, though, as Robin.
Yeah.
Well, they were really far along in the process to the point where if you look at the Robin action figure from the Batman Returns line, it's actually a black Robin. It's black. It's basically Marlon Wayans, but he's painted white, and they gave him a spit curl, but he's still got a flat top fade. So I grew up with that toy.
Oh my god.
Now, we talk about how shitty the Justice League movie is, even though we don't hate it. In 2007, a year before the MCU was launched with Iron Man, a new film was about to be made. George Miller of Mad Max fame was going to direct Justice League Mortal. It was going to be based on the comic book Tower of Babel and involve Batman's contingency plan for the Justice League that falls into the hands of evil. It was very close to shooting. Most of the cast was mostly full cast, and even costumes were ready to go. The unreleased movie was canceled due to creative differences, but the fact that the film was so close to becoming a reality draws fans to it. Now, guys, the one thing that I do know about this beyond this is they were down in, I believe, Australia getting ready to shoot, and they come back, they go away for Christmas, and they come back and it's pretty much done. But like Armie Hammer was supposed to play Batman. Jay Baruchel was going to be one of the, I think he was Maxwell Lord. But the whole movie, like, the costumes are set up. You can see some of the production art. Like, this is one of those movies that's like, we just didn't turn on the cameras. Everything else was done.
Because that sounds awesome. And I know what that is because I've heard about that before. That they give the contingency plan to Batman because it's human. And it's basically, it just kills all the heroes, right? That's the thing?
Yeah.
So, dude, and especially if the guy who made Mad Max did it, dude, that would be it would look so fucking good. It would have been amazing to watch that.
But instead we get Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon.
Dude, some of these you've given the right directors the good material, and then because it's fucking Christmas and you want to take a break, and then you come back and you get back to reality. And you're like, no, I don't want to do it. You just say no. It's like that would have been the movie. That would have made. I think if they would have done that in 2007 before Iron Man and it was released then, dude, that would have kicked Marvel in the ass a little bit. It would have been a little like touch and go there for them.
It would be interesting to live in that reality.
Yeah.
And then finally on this list, the last unmade Batman film is Ben Affleck's The Batman, which we all know about. It was supposed to be Ben Affleck directing and starring as Batman. But it never happened due to the failure of Justice League and the Snyderverse as a whole. So I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. He was back today. And I do think this is one of the big missed opportunities. But for me, for my money, the biggest missed opportunity is still Batman versus Godzilla.
Easily.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun to have in the fucking roster for sure. The Arkham one sounds really good, even though it would have been like a single sale or just the Arkham Asylum, that kind of thing, and him kind of freaking out and stuff like that. I feel like we got a little bit of that in front in the third Dark Knight movie when he starts hallucinating and seeing everybody that was in his past.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we got a little bit of that in that movie.
It would just be a much different. The comic book movie landscape would be so different if Batman and Robin didn't happen. Like seriously, that's the one that just
that's weird to think because of that happening, we've lost the opportunity in a lot of these movies, and like I want to say half of them at least sound really good and would have been epic to see, on the big screen for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't have had the Nolan movies with the Dark Knight and all that stuff, but I'd be willing to trade those Nolan films for these other unmade movies because they just sound a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the Nolan films. I think they were very extremely well done, regardless of who died and his name and the other stuff. I just like them visually, and I like the story as well. I think those movies are a lot of fun. And also, you're bringing Batman into the real world, which I thought would never happen, and like he did it in a very like realistic way. But no, I would forego those for the the Mad Max Justice League movie. That sounds awesome. That sounds incredibly fucking epic. The one where he's in Arkham Asylum, just freaking out and just dealing with the Joker and Scarecrow and all that stuff, and having to do that would have been like a wonderful mindfuck to watch for a bit. The other ones, even fucking Batman versus Godzilla would have been ridiculous to watch, but at least would have been fun.
We would have grown up with Batman versus Godzilla as kids. Like that would have been the movie you rent on like a cheesy Friday night. You're gonna watch, Godzilla versus King Kong.
Jeff, right now there would be a 4K box set for like $100 that they would sell. That's what would happen with that right now.
Maybe we should explore the multiverse in reality so we can just go watch all these bitchin' movies that never got made.
we need the cable box from Rick and Morty where they just have like multiple universes in the cable box. Like just watch everything.
That's why, folks, if I had the ability to time travel, I wouldn't really fuck with timelines. I would just go and just look at other stuff and then come back and tell you what it's like. We'd have the coolest podcast in the galaxy. It's like, listen, guys, on Earth 47A, quintuple B, there's a movie where Wonder Woman's actually a porno, and it made $1 billion at the box office.
You would have the weirdest DVD collection.
Yeah.
I already do, but we're not going to talk about that on air. It's nothing compared to yours, though, buddy.
Oh, man. No. There's a guy I know, a friend of mine, whose entire room is just covered in DVDs. Like, he can't even use. He doesn't have a computer desk. He has to edit on his bed because his computer won't fit anywhere else. And it's just wall to wall, like it's just like from floor to ceiling, just like DVD cases. That's all it is.
Well, maybe he should turn those DVD cases into a desk.
I think that'd be a good idea. But no, he loves his movies. He buys all the new stuff from Vinegar Syndrome and those guys. So yeah, he loves it, man.
Now, let's check in with our audience. Our friend Adamus says, for the wrestling segment, as someone who only saw wrestling in passing, I enjoy seeing Stone Cold stun people. It's me, Austin, and another button. Yes, I enjoy the Stone Cold Stunner as well. I think The Rock sells the stunner better than anyone ever in history. Kenda, do you agree with that?
Yes, and if you're watching wrestling while you're passing, I'm sorry. But if you were passing and you had to watch wrestling, which match would you pick?
I mean, you should watch an Undertaker match so, he can just lead you over to the dark side a lot easier.
That's true. I was thinking of watching anything with pockets because it'll make the experience of you passing less fucking insufferable. Like, oh God, I'm dying. Oh God, I want to die now. Never mind. Fucking yeah, there you go. Pockets versus the fucking versus the Bucks in a handicap match with fucking Twinkle Toes as the guest referee. Just fucking shoot me.
I'm gonna start playing that game with people. What booked wrestling match would make you want to die? For me, it would be. Oh God, who would I hate? It would probably be somebody really boring like Rene Dupree versus Eugene for the world title. Maven, there we go. I would rather not be alive for that match. But here's your button request right here.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch!
Now, also, I remembered I forgot to press the Axel Foley button earlier.
I'd just like to say. Jesus.
Hey, what's the music from?
Hello to our good friend Valiant Renegade. How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, The Flash is a movie. You could check it out if you want to, but I don't think you're missing out on much if you don't watch it. Now, some of these other wrestling matches. Xavier DeGod has a great one. King Mabel versus the Great Khali. Would you rather pass on than watch that one, Kendo?
That one is really bad. Really bad. Is it worse than my other Doomsday match? I don't know. Maybe? Shit, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's a coin flip at that point. I don't know if that's worse than the other match. If you take that other match and you turn it into like a 60-minute like Iron Man, most falls, then I will demand the gun from you, and I'll just do it myself. I don't even want to think about that. That just brings me down thinking about fucking Mabel versus Great Khali.
Don't bring me down, Bruce.
Yeah, that one's just awful.
Let's see. I'm trying to check out some other bad wrestling matches. Rikishi versus Lizzo says James Lizard.
Yuck. Nick will watch that, but not me.
Yeah, I don't think the ring can handle that much fucking weight.
That's a lot of beef. God
damn.
Yeah. Look at them cheeks.
What about Kevin Nash versus his niece as Xavier DeGod?
So, like, is he just gonna punch himself in the knees? Because that could be entertaining.
I'd watch a wrestling match where a guy beats himself up.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't, because that's wrestling the Invisible Man, and that's just stupid. You don't do that.
You know
shit.
what?
That's totally
I'm surprised Vince hasn't done that yet.
Vince McMahon is a lot of things, and he will go out of his way sometimes to pull back the curtain on the business, but I don't think he's going to go completely out of his way to pull the fucking wrestling the Invisible Man in front of paying customers part of killing the business. At least he has that in him. He's never let anybody on his TV in front of paying customers wrestle the Invisible Man or any fucking sex dolls, unlike New Japan. Or no, it wasn't New Japan. Who the hell? Twinkle Toes did it, so fuck him.
That's Kenny Omega for the layperson, folks.
Yeah. He also wrestled a fucking little girl in front of paying fans that was like 9 years old. And sold for her and helped her go through the moves like getting fucking Hurricane Rana and things like that. So way to go, Kenny.
But bro, she was over.
I don't fucking care. You don't do that. It's like the match where he wrestled the guy in the fucking G-strings and part of the match was trying to stick each other's head in your fucking crotch.
Was that really a match?
Yes, you can look it up. If you look up
Kenny Omega
thong match, you'll see him wrestling another guy where they keep trying to take turns fucking pulling their jockeys open and sticking their heads in there. There's also something where he's running around the woods firing bottle rockets out of his ass at other Japanese wrestler guys. Yeah, there used to be a whole thing on YouTube before fucking AEW had the shit taken down showing you what type of wrestler Kenny Omega really was. He's lucky that he got picked up and put into the Bullet Club, who was looking for another Gaijin that could be somebody that could take over, that could maybe try to fill the shoes of AJ Styles and Prince Devitt. He didn't, but he was there, and he just so happened to be lucky enough to have to wrestle against Kazuchika Okada, who could carry him to a Meltzer Baton match. So there you go. That's the only reason why people think he's so fucking good, because they got to see him in New Japan acting cool at the Bullet Club and then wrestling against one of the best wrestlers in the world in Okada, who carried him to great matches. I could wrestle Ric Flair in his prime, and I would look like a great wrestler too, and I've never stepped inside the ring.
Kendo, that's officially our new phrase here, Meltzerbation.
That's all it is. It's Meltzerbation. The last AEW show, we talked about it, how fucking mostly garbage it was, and he couldn't help himself. He had to give every match a high rating, and he had to give that fucking exploding super kick bait fest a 5-star thing. So that way he could give a phone call to the Bucks and be like, hey guys, I gave you 5 stars. Are we still friends? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, Dave. Just keep talking about us, you fucking mook.
Adama, thank you very much for that. And here is the other button that you requested right now.
Does he look like a bitch?
Yeah, he does.
I'll give Loudy one. He sent us that meme where it was that guy from that movie on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it said the question was, what does Marcellus Wallace look like? And like A, B, and C were what, and D was a bitch. I had to laugh on the toilet at that one. I'm like, good job, Loudy.
It's the best place to laugh is on the toilet. Xavier to God says, if James Cameron made his Spider-Man film, do you guys think it would have been as good or better or successful as Raimi's? And how would it have affected Marvel movies? I don't think it would have been as good because you needed all of the right elements. And James Cameron is a great filmmaker, but Sam Raimi is a great filmmaker, and he liked Spider-Man. And Sam Raimi developed the John Romita era, rest in peace John Romita, as a film. I think based on the script of what we saw from James Cameron, it would have been a much different movie. And while it would have made money, I think it would have probably petered out fairly quickly, no pun intended. In terms of
I don't need to see Spider-Man go under the sea and investigate the Titanic. That's all I'm going to say about a James Cameron movie.
That's all I dream about.
I don't know if James Cameron had done like Spider-Man 2, maybe he's always good at doing part 2s. Maybe it would have been.
So you're saying Avatar Part 2 was a good movie?
No, I mean when he exclusively does part 2s, like Terminator 2. What the fuck was it? What was the other one that he did? That was part 2. Piranha 2.
Aliens.
Aliens 2. Thank you. Yeah, when he does things like that, he's better. I guess because he has to have like a beginning framework of where to start and then deviate in a way from it. I guess I don't know.
Didn't James Cameron do the first Terminator?
Yes, he did.
Did he?
So then he's not just doing a part 2 at that one. Your
argument
argument
Terminator
is invalidated.
It is. Oh, well, there you go. It happens sometimes.
Dork.
I don't know, man. Him doing a Spider-Man would be, I don't know, be weird.
Again, I don't need to see Spidey go to the Titanic.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Or he finds like some kind of fucking time loopy thing and he goes back in time and he lands on the Titanic on April 14th, 1912, and he's fucking web slinging the fucking Titanic and the goddamn iceberg. He's like, I'm trying to steer it away. Oh my God. And they just recreate the scene where he saves the people on the subway, except for he's fucking
he does that
with the iceberg, and instead he's like fucking trying to web shoot it. And he's like ends up like spinning around it a bunch of times to try to get it to turn and spin out of the way. God, that would be fucking so dumb.
It would be.
I want to see that movie now.
I know. It would be just one of those things where you're just like, they did this. They paid millions of dollars for this fucking sequence.
And for no reason, a fucking T-800 shows up.
Peter Parker? Yes.
That's how the movie ends. Co-writer, Ryan Johnson.
You're terminated.
If only we got
the
to Ryan Johnson
just
early.
sink, and he just fucking launches an RPG into the side of it. Because apparently John Connor's like great grandfather was on the Titanic. God damn it! I actually want that movie to happen now. That would be awesome.
It would be such a fucking mashup of everything.
It'd be a beautiful fucking disaster, like the Titanic.
It would be. It would be. Oh my god! Speaking of the Titanic, have you heard about the conspiracy theory about the Titanic?
Let's hear it.
Which one?
That it was a hit job done by J.P. Morgan.
Oh, that's the one where they were supposed to like sink it for the insurance money or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had somebody try to explain that one to me before, and I'm like, that thing doesn't hold water. Unlike the Titanic, which held water very well and broke in half and sank.
Yeah, I've heard that recently. I'm just like, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, my whole thing was like, so wait, so you spend all this money on this boat, then you insure it, you deliberately crash it and sink it, you pay out to all the people because clearly there was issues with the, command that night and the sailing and the lifeboat thing. And then what? You clear the insurance claim? Like, how much is there to like make off? It seems like a way out of the way thing to do in order to try to make some kind of insurance money.
The version I've heard is that J.P. Morgan's like rivals were on there or on another ship not called the Titanic but something else.
The Olympic.
Yeah, the Olympic, and he sunk that.
Okay, so are they aware that the Titanic it hit an iceberg and sank? It wasn't torpedoed. We're not talking about the Lusitania here that the fucking Krauts got, right?
No, we're not talking
because
about
I could see where that could happen, where like you happen to know Schwanz Hans over there, and it's like, yeah, torpedo zabut, and oh yeah, sir, yeah, torpedo.
Whenever you do your
zabut.
German accent, I always think of Beer Fest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, look, I can say things in German pretty well, but when I actually try to talk like a German, it comes out sort of like fucking Bruno. So, anyway, do you know how many people you would have had to get involved in that? I mean, obviously, you got to get the captain on board.
Yes.
No pun intended. You got to get the guys that spot. There's too many people, too many moving parts. You have to get involved in that would also be willing to fucking die in this in order to make that happen, because it would look awfully suspicious if the main people of the crew crashed this boat and somehow survived, because it'd be like, wait, how come they got off the boat, but they,
Yeah, once again, it's a conspiracy theory, and that's it. So
yeah, the easiest way to handle this, it's just like the people are like, oh, the moon landing was filmed in a sound studio. Be like, okay, you know how many people that would take to do that? How many of them do you think would stay silent as long as they have?
Yeah, 100%.
Unless you kill them all right afterwards, which would look really fucking suspicious.
Yep.
Xavier to God asks, fuck, marry, kill Spider-Man trilogy openings, intros, and themes. Okay. So, fuck 1, marry 2, kill 3.
Jeff has the correct answer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because the third credit sequence just borrows from... flat out just borrows clips from other movies, which isn't as interesting. But number 2 has all that Alex Ross art, which is awesome. I mean, that's fucking great. And then the first one has all that cool CGI shit. So, yeah, I'm going to answer it, but I'm always going to tell you why I picked that as well. So, guys, we went way longer than I planned. We're trying to keep these about 2 hours, folks, for the replays and stuff like that. But we went 3 hours tonight, and oh, woe is us. But anything else you guys want to say before we put this baby to bed?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to tell Kendo the new season of Tacoma FD is coming out the 20th of July. Just to let you know, buddy.
Ooh! I'm looking forward to that.
All right, man.
Oh, also, happy birthday, Ernest.
Yes, we discussed that as well. Happy birthday, Ernest. He would have been 74.
Well, I was late to the show because of my Mulvaney.
No problem, man. You have a family, you got to take care of them first, man. That's how it goes.
Right. And for anybody who's wondering what I'm talking about, just look it up. I can't say what we call those parts of the car without guests getting booted off YouTube because of Susan.
I didn't understand what you're talking about till right now.
Just like, there's really a Mulvaney part of a car?
No, I'm just starting to think, like, what's the word that you're trying... Oh,
Somebody in the comments would like to point that out, just so everybody's clear. Be my guest.
Oh God, yeah.
Did you see the Bud Light sales have dropped so bad that Modelo is the #1 beer in America?
I
now?
love it. I love every minute of it. I love that I love how there's this like silent protest where nothing, like nobody got hurt. There was no property damage, nothing, and you took down a fucking legacy company. Like, hooray!
2 things I can mention about that before we go. Number 1, at Chase Field the other day, I did not see I saw maybe a couple people walking around with Bud Light tall boys. For the most part, it was not Bud Light. And a few of the places I went to get beer, you couldn't even get it on tap. And number 2, when we went to the Great Wolf Lodge yesterday for the water park, they were flying a certain flag out in front of the building to demonstrate their pride and their progress of said pride, and didn't care. It was like, whatever. I mean, we already fucking paid for the ticket, whatever. I don't protest these things. I don't give a shit. But I found it funny that the bar inside the water park did not have Bud Light on tap. You could not get that. I'm like, You could get Modelo, but not Bud Light.
Yeah, it sounds like you had 2 competing managers at that particular business.
I don't know. I was like, look, I'm not going to go swimming because it's a public pool, which means there's people shitting and pissing and bathing in this thing. I don't do that. That's number 1. Number 2, I got a lot of shit to do because I actually have class tonight. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll watch my wife and my kid and her friends, which, by the way, never, ever do a family vacation with other families.
Dude, that's been the bane of my existence ever since I've been a kid. Ever since I've been a kid, trust me. I know. I 100% know.
We had to coordinate our leaving. It's like, we're leaving. We're going by another outlet mall. We're going to go by the Asian market, and then we're going to go to Jollibee and go home. Why do we have to coordinate this? We don't have to. We don't need to. I was told we don't have to do everything together, but here we are doing everything together.
Kendo, when I was a teenager, me, my family, and my cousins, we'd do a trip where, for some reason, like on a fucking Friday, my mom would tell me after we come back to school, it's like, pack up some clothes for the weekend because we're going to Atlanta to go watch Indian movies and go eat Indian food. That's how I was. Mind you, we wouldn't leave as soon as like school ended, like around 3:30 or 4. We'd leave it like, I think we leave it like 9 or 10, and then 4 hours in that direction. So we'd get there like later at night. But also, what happened is my uncle, who was with us, would want to eat at a fucking restaurant, not just like eat in the car and just like keep going. No, he'd want to go to a sit down goddamn restaurant.
We always have to do that too. It's like, I just want to fucking go.
Yeah,
I can eat a cheeseburger and drive.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. And so we would have to go to a goddamn sit down restaurant, and they would always fuck up the order, and he always get pissed off, and he's wondering why do I always do this? Always fucking do it. And then we drive on to go see our Indian movie late at night at some like theater in a bad neighborhood that only that somehow got the movie to show. We'd be there until like 3 a.m. and eventually get to our hotel and fall asleep. Then we'd get up as early the next day and go get breakfast and wait for everybody to get ready, which took for goddamn ever, and then go to the Indian market and do all that bullshit. And then once we bought enough stuff, to the point where we were almost where you couldn't fit in the car anymore, then we leave. And you're trying to leave and be in this car, and you have boxes and bags and all kinds of shit around you that's falling over every time the car moves, changes lanes on the fucking highway. But God forbid we this needed to happen this weekend. But
oh yeah,
your discomfort does not mean anything. Go, you're a child. Go fuck yourself.
Dude, all right. So my wife and her friends that are not on the vacation with us usually, and they're calling in orders, they think I fucking drive a TARDIS. I'm like, there's not enough space in here for all this shit. What do you think? The inside of my car is just massive. So there's that. But I also think I found religion slightly over the last few days because. So I booked our room. I got us the king size. It was whatever La Quinta considers a suite, and then I got them, and I had to order their room too because it was easier for me to do it than just give me the money. And so I got them a double bedroom or whatever because there was like 4 of them going, and 2 of them were kids, and they gave us adjoining rooms. So again, not for the probably correct reasons to find religion, but I'm sure there is a deity out there, and I've done something to offend them because. I don't believe what that room arrangement thing would happen by accident.
So you offended some god
I
somewhere.
offended some god somewhere, and that was my penance because it was
to
like,
have the fucking wait. Hold on. Was the conjoining door open the entire time?
not the entire time, because I made
Okay.
sure to close it whenever we were done. When we were done conjoining, I made sure to close said door.
Good for you.
But I was just like,
I've been in a situation where it's been open the entire fucking weekend, and usually that's during like a wedding or something, and it's terrible. It's
I couldn't do
incredibly
that.
terrible.
dude, even if like the four of us ended up in like conjoined rooms at a hotel, I mean that would bother me not as bad. Even then, I'd still close the door. Like we don't. Actually, no, I'd probably keep the door open for you guys. I actually like you.
Yeah, it does. It's
you guys. Never mind.
What's
gonna happen,
Kendo? We're gonna come in the room and like get beer and pizza. That's it.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
all.
No, okay. So let me change this. So like, if I went on vacation with like my sister and her gonna be husband in a couple of years, and she's gonna have a baby also in a few months too. So hooray! And keeping up with the Joneses, and I'm the Joneses in this case. So. I wouldn't want a conjoined room at all. Be like, look, doofus, you want to come over here and see me? Go out the fucking hallway and knock on the door like a normal person, okay? You don't knock on the room door.
Oh man,
Miss Ninja Julian, I couldn't have offended him because I didn't start referring to that car part until the Mulvaney today, because that's when it started fucking with me.
You know, after hearing your stories about vacations, both of you, I'm very grateful I was an only child.
Well, that's why I messaged you guys the other day. I said, look, if we ever do like a family vacation with all of us, and God, I hope we do, because it would be a lot of fun, we need to at least do some separate shit. We can't, I feel like that's not a problem, because even when all four of us are together on trips together, we're not always doing the same thing together all the time.
No,
there's times where I'm just like, fuck you guys, I'm walking away this direction to go hang out in this, particular area, and nobody seems to notice I'm missing, at least for 20 minutes. And then it's always like, oh no, yeah, I'll catch up with you. I just had a shit or something.
Yeah, we're adults. That's how it works. We're adult dudes. But that's how it works. It's like, you cool? All right, you cool? Good, fine, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm good. There was a couple times where I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going back to the room. You guys can hang out here in the bar. I don't care. I'm going upstairs. I'm tired.
Yeah, happens. It's no big deal.
And nobody cares. You didn't have to. Nobody offered to go with me. Nobody messaged me 5 minutes later to make sure I got there. It was great.
Yeah, because you're an adult male. You went to the room.
Yeah, I could have been obstructed and killed in the hallway.
It's not like you're trying to catch an Uber to catch your flight or something. That's different. If you're just like going,
I wouldn't
up
even
to the
do
room,
that. Be like, hey, any of you guys willing to drive me to the airport? That was a test. No, I'm taking my own fucking car. I will hire one. I'll pay the $20. Bye.
You'll pay the troll toll? Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, last thing I'll say before we go. This new season of It's Always Sunny is okay, but today's episode was awesome. Kendo, check it out. It's called The Gang Gets Cursed.
Okay. Yeah, because I started to lose my enthusiasm for that show. I think it was season 13. Their very first episode was something really fucking dumb, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was a musical the whole time, and I don't like musicals.
Oh, What Are the Rules? I hated that fucking season.
Yeah. And then like a couple episodes later, it was the fucking girls reboot version of the Boggs thing, which I get it. They're making fun of the all-girl reboots, but I'm just like, I don't need you guys to do that because I already know they suck. Because I don't need an episode centered around D. At least not D not getting shit on by the other cast members the whole time. When that, like when D, that episode where she was like tired and miserable the whole episode, that was okay because the other guys were there to fucking dump on her. That made it funny.
Oh, the gang broke D, that's a good one.
Yeah. See, that one's fine. That one's all totally fine. Just like when her and Dennis get addicted to crack. That's very, and I don't need Dennis-centric episodes either because I don't, Dennis is one of my well, he can't be my least favorite character. That's D. He's my second least favorite character. No, wait, is that Mac? Because I don't like Mac a lot of times either. Mac's kind of a douche. Charlie's the only character I really like besides Frank.
Same.
Yeah, so any episode that focuses on them, I'm pretty happy with.
Well, then you'll like this season because it's a very heavy Frank and Charlie season.
Perfect.
All right, so folks, I'll be back tomorrow with more content. We're going to have a GMPC. I got to get some sleep for that. And then I will be streaming with WDW Pro. Everything's set up. So, yes, join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for that stream. We're going to be talking about Hollywood, Lucasfilm, all sorts of Disney issues, and a whole lot more. So, folks, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out the Vinny Art channel because Vinny is awesome. And from all of us here at WCBS, thanks for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
.com.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
My name is Jeff.